kind of capability, but let's make sure that they're being used for only good purposes. And I got it again, Frank, conflict stabilization operations. We need to get that. There was an actual proposal that was made by Bob Destro. It's been taken off the table. And I know Tom, absolutely agrees. We need to quantify, qualify, make it all very clear. What is happening is knowledge is power.
So according to Forbes, by 2025, the e-learning space will be worth $350 billion. What does that mean for you? It means that you've got knowledge in your head that someone else would like to learn from. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to already be a coach.
Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to invite you to Elumba Television tonight. Let me unmute. Dr. Nwankwo Nwezigwe, you are welcome. Good evening, sir. You can unmute yourself, Dr. Nwezigwe.
Okay.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
But you are not loud enough. Can you speak? You are not loud enough.
I am hearing you. Can you hear me?
Very good. I can hear you very well now.
Okay.
Are you able to center your video so that it will be, you'll be at the center of your video a little, just shift a little, just a little. Yes. Fantastic. We are now live on social media. We are live everywhere now, just for your information, sir. Okay. Just one more housekeeping, sir, and then we are ready to go. Is my voice loud enough, by the way?
Yes, we are getting you.
Thank you.
I can only hear Chief Professor Chikwendu's head, not the chest.
Okay. That's good to know. I think I've muted everyone. Okay. Let me, just one more thing. No. It's not working. Is it streaming? Yeah, it is. Okay. Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome you to Elumba Television tonight. Our guest this evening is Dr. Nwankwo Tony Nwezigwe. Dr. Nwezigwe is Director, Nigeria Civil War and Genocide Research Network. He's also a research fellow in exile at Institute of African Studies, University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Dr. Nwezigwe is an expert in ethno-religious conflict with particular focus on Black Africa and Middle East. Dr. Nwezigwe, we welcome you to our program tonight.
Thank you, Chifelomba, and this.
I'm still not I'm still not a
Thank
chief.
you very much.
Yeah, we're welcome. Our topic tonight is Igbo leadership and the road to Fulani domination of Nigeria. We will give Dr. Mwezigwe to give us a brief synopsis of what this topic is all about in the next 3 minutes, and then he is here to take our questions. Dr. Mwezigwe, you have the floor.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. 3 minutes synopsis. Okay.
Well, you can make it 5. That's okay.
Well, when we talk of Igbo leadership, we talk about a collective apex representation of the Igbo ethnic nation, without geopolitical limits. And here we are talking about the role this class of leadership has played in advancing Fulani domination of the present nation, Nigeria. Question: how far has Igbo leadership over time aided and abetted the emergence of Fulani supremacy in Nigeria? That is the question. And the answer is yes. More than any other ethnic group in Nigeria, the Igbo leadership has actually been the driving force of Fulani domination in this Nigeria. Starting from now, if I take the 7 phases of Igbo leadership, apart from the first phase, which is pre-6, pre-6 era, you talk of the 6th era, you talk of the Abironsi era, you talk of minus the Civil War, then you talk of the post-Civil War era, you talk of the Second Republic, you talk of the Third Republic, and you talk of this present Fourth Republic. You find that in all these phases of Igbo leadership, all these phases of Nigerian history, with particular reference to Igbo leadership has played important role in advancing the Fulani supremacy in Nigeria. And if I can just give you a brief rundown of, you find that Zik actually, because of his personal rivalry, not hatred for the Yoruba nation. Zik loved Yoruba nation as much as Yoruba nation loved Zik. But because of his personal rivalry with Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Azikiwe decided to pitch camp with Sardauna of Sokoto and the Fulani. And for that reason, the Fulani became the dominant force in the First Republic. And again, Abironsi, after taking over from a coup he was never privy to, or he was subtly privy to, but not openly privy to, his major aim, his major advancement was to curry the favor of the Fulani. And that actually brought about his catastrophic fall and what became known as the dark era of Igbo history in Nigeria, from pogrom to the Civil War. You talk about the military era. Apart from Ukiwe, who said, no, I will not tolerate it, and resigned, the first ever Igbo leader to do so. First ever Igbo leader to do so. Others continued, people like Nzeribe. Then we talk about Ojukwu. People, you see, problem with Igbo man today is that most of the people they call as hero today would actually, those people who undermined Igbo integrity in Nigerian politics today. One of them was Dim Chukwuemeka Ojukwu. Throughout the time Chukwuemeka Ojukwu was in exile, his 13-year exile, the Igbo people were feared and respected. Even after the Civil War, they were treated with golden globes. They were handled with care because so long as the leader was out, they did not know, they never knew what would take place. They did not know, it's just like a snake across the road in the dark. You do not know where the head lies. But as soon as Ojukwu landed and allowed himself to be used by the Fulani to undermine Zik, from that moment, Igbo integrity in politics fell. People like Okadigbo, people, even Ekwueme, who was not who was just drafted into the scene as vice president, also became a party to that factor of undermining Igbo integrity by fighting Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. And from that moment, Igbo respect and integrity in leadership began to dwindle. And when people like Babangida came up, people like Aton Seribe took the same. When Abacha came up, even Ojukwu again came up with the same, supporting Abacha. And you will not believe, even against June 12. And I want to say something today, and let me repeat it, that it was Ojukwu that actually energized Abacha's takeover from who? From Shenokon. Because Admiral Addison Madueke told him in confidence that he and Colonel General Ali Christiali, who was the Army Chief of Staff, were planning to arrest Abacha to sustain the June 12. Ojukwu went and reported to Abacha. And that was when Abacha removed these people and then took over power. And today we are calling these people what? We are calling him our hero, our hero. And then you move on to the present day. You could now see how our leaders have been undermining, and the problem with Igbo leadership, which is even endemic with the present class of Igbo leadership. I am saying it because the focus of Igbo leadership, the sign of Igbo failure and Igbo success, in whatever form you describe it in Nigeria, is centered on the core Igbo Southeast. If Southeast fails, it is the entire Igbo nation that fails. If Southeast succeeds, it's the entire Igbo nation that succeeds. And that is why we are concerned about the leadership. But you have a leadership that is ideologically bankrupt. What do I mean by ideological bankrupt? There is no set ideological focus in their leadership. If you look at their tangents, the tangents of their political behavior is only positive towards money. Money, fame through money. If you look at Yoruba spirituality in politics, you find that their own tangent is based on what? On their cultural nationalism. If you look at the Fulani, they have Islam as a tangent. And if you look at the Middle Belt have Christianity, which they viewed as a mobilizing force to counter the Fulani emergence. Now, talking about Igbo, what are the Igbo weapons in countering the Fulani? And I can give you 7 immutable areas of conflict, 7 irredeemable areas of conflict between the Igbo and the Yoruba, which not even any political alignment can address. And I can say, 1, there's difference. We have differences in ecological utilization. We are subsistence farmers and they are herders. And there are immutable conflict between herders and farmers. We never agree because there always be conflict. There's also differences in our traditional pattern of political orientation and ascension. They believe in feudalism, and we believe in what? In achievement-oriented ascendancy. We will always clash in that. We will always have it. Then talk about our colonial experiences. The Igbo man fought the British and was actually colonized, but the Fulani became a partner to British colonialism. We never agreed on that. Then talk about the 4th one. We have different worldviews. We are mainly Christians. Christians, and wherever the Igbo man goes, he goes with his own Christianity. If he's in US, if he's in Russia, after his people, his next port of call is his church. That is the Igbo man for you. And there are certain states in Nigeria today, if the Igbo man goes, the churches in those states will collapse. That is our focus. And for the Fulani man, his own focus and spiritual focus is Islam. And he found that between Christianity and Islam, there is immutable conflict. There is irreconcilable conflict. And what the Igbo leadership have refused to understand is that the Fulani will never accept the woman as his own ally, no matter the face with which the Igbo man appears. Because by doing so, the Fulani man will be undermining the provisions of the Holy Quran. The Holy Quran is explicit on that. And I refer you to Surah 15, that chapter 5, verse 51, which is very, very clear. And it states entirely, believers, take neither Jews nor Christians for your friends and protectors. They are friends and protectors upon themselves. Anyone who takes them as friends and protectors is what? Is part of them. It is abundantly clear in Surah 5, that is chapter 5, verse 51 of the Quran. And telling a Fulani man to love an Igbo man, trust Igbo man, is like telling him to undermine the provisions of the Quran. So spiritually, we are at a distance. Spiritually, we are in a state of immutable conflict, irreconcilable conflict. And our leaders have refused to understand that. I talk about the fifth one. We talk about the factor of Ahmadu Bello. Ahmadu Bello had never liked Igbo people. Right from time, he has said it openly. Without hiding, he never wanted Igbo man. In 1964, during the census, the Nigerian census crisis, even the Northern Regional House of Assembly moved motions trying to expel Igbo people from Northern Nigeria. So it is very, very clear. If Ahmadu Bello did not like Igbo people, is it those who worship him as their God that will love Igbo people? Then we're talking about. Let me come.
Dr. Mwezi.
Yes.
Okay.
Then the sixth one, the death of Ahmadu Bello. They believe we killed Ahmadu Bello unjustly. That is under dispute. It is disputable. Then finally, we talk about the Usman and Fodio jihad in Nigeria, in line with what? With global jihad today. Have they stopped the Usman and Fodio jihad? If they have stopped, then the idea of believing that the Fulani man can make the best of friend for the Igbo man will not be sustained. Let me stay here for some time. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Is it right to say that your thesis has simply addressed the natural conflict between two very strong ethnicities in Nigeria, rather than one of the ethnic groups actually dominating the other?
Yes, it is that conflict. You see, when two people are in conflict with each other, and one fails to realize and understand that conflict, he becomes a subject. He becomes what? He becomes a subject of that conflict. And then he becomes the subdued. He becomes the vanquished. The Igbo leadership, in their tangential political approach, jumping middle bets, seeking political Eldorado, in Hausa Fulani, political Kokum, have failed to understand these immutable differences, which Chief Obafemi Awolowo and the Yorubas and the middle betters quite understand. The Igbo leadership over time, if you look at their tangential approach to political alignment in Nigeria, you find that they've not made any attempt to understand these immutable areas of conflicts. By the time you understand it, then you'll be able to reorder your political focus and then talk about solution to our present political quagmire. So you must understand the conflict first.
Okay, is it right to assume that we are not simply lumping the Islamic North with the Fulani? Are you trying to say that the identity of the Islamic North is one with the identity of the Fulani?
No.
Is that what you're trying to say?
No. In every revolution, you have a vanguard. Like you are talking of the Russian Revolution. You have the Bolsheviks. The Bolsheviks were just a small group of intellectuals led by Lenin. Then they mobilized others. The real Hausa man does not know what you call Fulani.
Okay, let me explain. Let me explain my question. Let me explain my question.
The Toronkoa or the Torobe.
Yeah, because since you've given us the history of Nigeria from the political history of Nigeria from the 1960s till date. And then you mentioned Sani Abacha in the same lump with Ibrahim Babangida, in the same lump with Shehu Shagari, in the same lump with Muhammad Buhari. But we all here know that these people, not all of them are Fulanis. So why are you lumping them together with the Fulani Caliphate? Ibrahim Babangida is a Gwari, Sani Abacha is a Kanuri. They are not Fulanis.
Fine. There is what we call adopted identity. When you come in and work within the framework, when an Ijaw man comes within the framework of Igbo political idea, he becomes transferred as Igbo. Just as in the First Republic, most of the Easterners were known as Igbo. So the point is that when you appear there, when Babangida was there, he advanced the cause of the Sokoto Caliphate, the Fulani Caliphate, which was Islamization.
What about Sani Abacha? What about Sani Abacha?
Sani Abacha advanced. Remember, Sani Abacha was not only a Kanuri, he was originally from a Kanuri from Chad, who naturalized in Kano. So not even Kanuri of Nigeria. Sani Abacha came again and advanced the interests of that Fulani Caliphate by what?
If Kani Abacha advanced the interests of the Fulani Caliphate, why will he depose Sultan Dasuki?
Yes, he deposed Sultan Dasuki because of the son who was then ADC to Babangida and who was not respectful to him. And again, because of the conflict again, I remember Sani Abacha also did the buildings of the caliphate by putting Nigeria in D8 development.
No. I think my question is specific. If Sani Abacha was advancing the interest of the Fulani, remember that Ibrahim Babangida installed, or rather worked with Sultan, I'm not sure whether he installed it, but he worked with Sultan Dasuki, and his son was, I think, Babangida's ADC. Now, Sani Abacha took over power and deposed that Sultan, and installed, not only did he depose him, he went into exile. So are we now, is it still advancing the interest of the Fulani Caliphate if Sani Abacha deposed the Sultan, the head of the movement?
The question here is that when Dasuki was deposed, did Sani Abacha put a Kanuri person? The answer is no. The point is that Sani Abacha knew that Dasuki, who had been a long-time Secretary General of Supreme Council of Islamic Affairs, would not listen to him, was already in the pocket of Ibrahim Babangida, who would not agree with him. So he needed to do what? To build his own traditional base. Just as the emir of God, what is it called? Dan Dollar, what forget it. The governor of Kano said did. Because he knew that Sanusi will not agree with him. He decided to bring in the children of the old of Ado Bayero and install them there. And that's what the same thing Abacha did, bringing the son of the late Sultan to be there. Because to him, that is the person who can enjoy his confidence. The point is that so long as it is a Fulani person that replaces the Sultan, then he's actually working for the Fulani interests. So there's no question whether he's working for the interest of the Sultan or not. Because as a Kanuri man, there was no way he could have brought a Kanuri man, or he should have called the Shehu of Borno to come now and become the Sultan of Sokoto.
Okay, my question at this point will be, do you, in your thesis, where there are political conflicts, you have different political strands are striving to acquire political power. To what extent is it true that there is a Fulani domination agenda where, if for instance, the Igbo lacks the political clout to capture the presidency of Nigeria, for instance, where in another setting, a Yoruba by Obasanjo, carefully playing his political game correctly, and if again, you see Bola Tinubu now also play the very good political game, and capture the political power in 2023, to what extent will we actually say that there is a Fulani agenda to dominate? Or is it simply that they were able to use their political schemings to capture the political power at the center, just as they did in 1960?
Yeah, you see, first of all, Obasanjo is as naive as the average Igbo political leadership, especially those talking about next presidential election in 2023. First of all, there are issues to be addressed. There are being continuous registration of voters. How many people are being registered in the South? They are trying to connect the voting. They are registering outsiders, people from Niger, people from Chad, people from Central African Republic. They are registering them. It has not been addressed. There were also evidence that kids, primary school alumni voted in the last presidential election. Have we addressed that? We have not addressed them. So how can you be? There are many issues that even our leadership have not questioned. You are talking about going to election, whereas the background on which that election will be contested is not clear, it's not set. So I don't understand what people think about when you are talking about campaign. People, it's just like you are talking about trying to plant corn in a land. Somebody else is putting yam under the same land. They are down planning, bringing their people, and I'm not telling from experience. I'm not just talking as a scholar. I'm talking as a refugee who has traversed the length and breadth of West and Central Africa as a refugee, where I had direct contact with Fulani refugees who are not trooping into Nigeria. So you find that, let me tell you this, Nigeria is not an isolated case. But the point is that Nigeria has the resources to sustain the Fulani campaign in West Africa. The entire Fulani, let me tell you, 95% of Fulani population of Central African Republic have been driven out of the country. Most of them
okay.
What
is the nature of this Fulani campaign in West Africa that you have in mind?
There's what we call universal jihad syndrome, which have been planted in the average Fulani by Usman Danfodio, by Alhaji Omar of Shegu and other people. Now, let me give you a graphic example. In Sierra Leone today, the Fulani have no defined region out of the 4 regions there. But then, they have the Vice President of the Republic of Sierra Leone. They've been able with their resources to become the Vice President. Their homeland, Guinea, Conakry, they are battling with Alpha Conde, who is a Tokolo Madingo. They are battling with him. In Guinea-Bissau, they are battling with the Tokolo there. In Gambia, they succeeded through subtle means to put Adama, who is a Fulani, but came as a Wolof. In Senegal, Saleh, the president of Senegal, is a Fulani. In Burkina Faso, they are battling in northern Burkina Faso for jihad. It's Fulani. In Mali, they are battling. It is Fulani. Where even in Niger, the conflict there empowered by the Fulani. So what else? What evidence again? Do you need to know that what is happening in Nigeria is a global Fulani jihad, not only exclusive to Nigeria, but also extended to other parts of West Africa. And I'm giving you example of the situation in Central African Republic, where with the help of the late President Dabi, the very Central African Republic took over power. People, Muslims of 10%, trying to rule over the rest 90%. Until France came in, I know the cause. The people revolted, anti-Balaka revolted, and then drove out the people. So that is why even in Nigerian situation today, where they try to put people, Fulani is chief of army staff, Fulani is, when the conflict starts, these officers cannot do it. It happened in the 2 Rwandas, Burundi and Rwanda. When the army officers could not do anything, it happened in Central African Republic, when the people rose, the army officers will not do anything. So they have not learned from their history.
Thank you. What I am trying to establish here is, are we able to separate two issues? The jihadist terrorism that is ravaging the West African sub-region and this Fulani domination of Nigerian politics, or Fulani dominating the Igbo political leadership you are talking about? Or are you trying to say that the Fulani march for political domination is the same thing as this jihadist terrorism that is ravaging the Sahel region? Are you trying to say that it is one idea, or are they two different events at a point in history?
They have one purpose of operating from different frameworks and coordinating.
No, so are you saying it is the same Fulanis driving this jihad in West Africa?
You see, there are areas like Boko Haram now is a mixture of other ethnic groups, including the Fulani. There.
So we can agree that it is not the Fulani that is driving the Boko Haram jihadist terrorism.
West Africa, no. You see, Boko Haram. Remember, Boko Haram is exclusive. Boko Haram is on its own pattern. But if you now look at the other West African nations, I want you to take note of what I'm saying. If you look at the West African nation, we know how Boko Haram started. If you look at, I've given you examples, and you have to ask yourself a question. Why is it in Guinea Conakry, in Guinea-Bissau, in Gambia, in Senegal, in Burkina Faso, in Mali, in Nigeria, the Fulani are the head of the banditry and of the jihad? These are the questions you have to answer. These are the calls.
Okay, let me play this video so that I want us to be clear. Let me just play this video now for us to let us see whether this jihadism has any connection with the Fulani political domination you are talking about.
Ourselves to certain geographies and countries like Iraq, Syria, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. We don't talk about, let's say, Nigeria, where 317 schoolgirls were kidnapped by terrorists last week. We don't talk about Mali.
I just want to confirm, are we hearing this? Is it loud enough?
Yeah, I'm getting you. I don't know about others.
Okay.
10 soldiers were killed in a terror attack just last month. We completely ignored Niger, where 56 civilians lost their lives in a terror raid in the month of January. And we rarely see any international headlines on Burkina Faso, Algeria, Mauritania, Guinea, Chad, Ghana, or Cameroon. These are all countries witnessing a devastating surge in terror attacks. Many of them have become the riskiest places on this planet. And we're making a big mistake by assuming that what these countries suffer has no bearing on the future security and stability of the rest of the world. Hello and welcome to Gravitas Plus. I'm Palki Sharma Upadhyay, and we need to talk about West Africa. This region on the African continent, it is witnessing an unprecedented surge in terrorist activities. It has been called the new battleground for jihadists. The situation in West Africa is extremely volatile. Look at these numbers. As of June 2020, 921,000 people had been forced to flee in Burkina Faso. 593 people had been killed in Mali. 240,000 people were internally displaced, and 592 had been killed. And in Nigeria, 489,000 people had been forced to relocate, while 1,245 had been killed. The blame for these deaths and displacements lies with jihadist terror groups. Most of them have made a marriage of convenience with global terrorist organizations. Some are associated with the Islamic State, others with the Al-Qaeda, and all of them are pushing West Africa into deeper turmoil. But how did they emerge in Africa, and why are they thriving? To understand that, we'll begin with Algeria. The year 1992, the Algerian military staged a coup to prevent the Islamic Salvation Front from winning the country's first democratic election. Islamic Salvation Front was an Islamist political party. The coup pushed Algeria into a civil war, a brutal conflict that lasted till 2002. More than 200,000 Algerians died during this period, and 15,000 others disappeared. Among those who disappeared were Islamist fighters who fled the country. They found refuge in the deserted areas of northern Mali. These were sparsely populated areas. The fighters rebuilt their resources, they allied with local rebel groups, and they began engaging in criminal activities. In 2007, these fighters reorganized themselves into a faction and swore allegiance to the Al Qaeda. They called themselves Al Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, AQIM, meaning Al Qaeda in the Islamic West. This group had one aim: overthrow the Algerian government and set up an Islamic state. And to achieve this aim, the AQIM began collaborating and funding a smaller militant group in neighboring Nigeria, a group which now beats the Islamic State in being the most lethal terror outfit perhaps in the world, the Boko Haram. It literally means Western education is a sin. This group emerged in the year 2002 but gained prominence in 2009 after it turned violent. The AQIM provided the Boko Haram with weapons. The Boko Haram had different motive. It wanted Nigerians to reject Western education, science, and modern literature. To enforce its will, it started razing villages and slaughtering people, kidnapping children. It then used these abducted children to carry out suicide attacks. In 2013, this group kidnapped 276 schoolgirls. In 2020, it kidnapped close to 300 schoolboys, and last week, it kidnapped nearly 317 schoolgirls again. It's an endless cycle of kidnappings and an endless cycle of violence. Since May 2011, the Boko Haram has killed 37,500 people and displaced 2.6 million people. It has turned 244,000 Nigerians into refugees. And in the same period, the Boko Haram has also inspired several fundamentalists to form their own terror outfits. I could name a few: the Ansarul Islam, Ansaru, the Islamic Movement of Nigeria, the Libyan Islamic Fighting Group, and Nusrat al-Islam. In the last 6 years, these groups have increasingly synchronized their operations and carried out multiple terror attacks across Africa. You may not have heard of them, but you must have come across these headlines, the ones that they made. The 2015 Chad suicide bombings carried out by 2 women and 2 children. The 2016 Ouagadougou attacks, where 2 former Swiss MPs were killed. The 2016 Grand Bassam shootings, where 19 people, mostly expats, were killed. And the 2018 Ouagadougou attacks, where the French embassy was attacked. And this is besides the many more raids and crimes that these terror groups commit on a daily basis. So what's driving them? Is it just ideology and religious belief? Well, yes and no. The problem is religious as much as it's financial. You see, poverty, corruption, and underemployment are also to blame here. This is where the Boko Haram operates. The Lake Chad region, one of the poorest regions in the world. It is part of the Chad Basin, an area of severe environmental degradation. This is part of the Sahel, a region with no stable governance. This narrow band of land that stretches from the Atlantic Ocean in the west to the Red Sea in the east, this is the Sahel. It's hot, dry, and vast. It's also the world's most neglected region. The average temperature here is 35 degrees. This has a dramatic effect on food production. There's nothing to grow, there's nothing to sell. Food emergencies are rampant. Poverty is widespread. The conditions make it an ideal breeding ground for terror groups. These people have proven to be vulnerable to radicalization. The likes of Boko Haram and the AQIM exploit their vulnerability. With the absence of proper governance or stable jobs, they lure young men into picking up arms, joining their ranks, and making a quick buck. So how do they do it? How do they make money? Through ransom, extortion, looting banks, imposing taxes, and kidnapping. According to one report, 26% of the global kidnapping cases in 2013 were in Nigeria and were carried out by the Boko Haram. The same report says that in 2011, the AQIM in Mali received $5.4 million per hostage on an average. Let's not even talk about high-profile kidnappings. According to Vicky Huddleston, the former US ambassador to Mali, France had to pay $17 million in ransom. This was for the release of 4 French citizens in 2010, $17 million US. A lot of us would turn in our retirement papers for that sort of money. So the terror groups were raking in the cash. Then came the pandemic. 2020 was a blessing in disguise for them. The Wuhan virus confined most of us to our homes, but for terrorists in West Africa, it provided an opportunity to consolidate and expand. The Boko Haram, in collusion with other terror groups, now controls large swathes of land in Nigeria, and it's extending its reach in Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Chad, Niger, even sub-Saharan Africa. What is the world doing about it? Not very much. France, which once had colonies in West Africa, is the only country that is extensively engaged in combating terror in this region. It has deployed close to 5,100 military
I think we should stop here at this point. I played this video extensively to highlight a phenomenon that is prominent in a lot of West African countries and even into North Africa. And still, my question remains before we go back to the politics of it. Are we trying to equate jihadist terrorism in West Africa to this so-called Fulani quest for political domination of the region? Or should we separate the two phenomena? Dr. Mwezigwe.
No, one has been there for long, and then one came up. And the Fulani quest for political domination, the jihad has been there. They've existed before now. The idea of global jihad, if you have actually read the main ideologue of Al-Qaeda, the late Yusuf al-Ayiri, the global jihad, and if you also read the expert in Jehovah Jihad, the American Sarah Zuber, you found that we all know that the idea of global jihad is a recent phenomenon. But the idea of Fulani jihad has been part since 19th century and has continued. So it's a question of one trying to utilize the international connection, international linkage to pursue the same goal of domination. So it's not a question of whether they link up, they have one common purpose: Islamic domination of the world. And since their aims agree, they decided to cooperate. So it's not, we don't need to try to separate them. They are one, they're coming from different angles and with different origins. Like if you talk of the Janjaweed in the four region attacking the other, these are Muslims attacking Muslims because they are black. The issue, what actually was their aim and objective? That's the question you ask. So I want you to understand that the Fulani jihad has been there before the issue of global jihad came up. Al-Qaeda.
All right, we thank you. So that because very soon very soon we start taking questions from members of the audience. Let me ask this question. This Fulani domination of Nigerian politics, obviously, let me not ask whether it has augurs well for the country because he will say no. So what do you think is the solution? How will the Igbo political leaders start now to reverse this trend? Do you have any idea?
First of all, the Igbo leadership have forgotten to know that politics is business, just as the buying and selling of their products is also business. As you invest in your business, so you also invest in politics. The Fulani invest in politics because they see politics as their own business. The Igbo man knows that the middle belters, people from the middle belt, have the same common ground with them. How many of them have tried to collaborate or align with the middle belt? How many Igbo businessmen have used their money to sponsor candidates in middle belt to become governors of Nasarawa State? Because these people are impoverished and they cannot actually compete with the enormous oil, our petroleum million money at the disposal of the Fulani oligarchy. How many people have gone there? Look at, for long, Kaduna states and Benue State have been born. How many Southeast Igbo leaders have gone there in solidarity just because we are common Christians, just for the fact that we are Christians, just for the fact that we are neighbors, just for the fact that we are suffering the same thing from the same enemy? They prefer going over to Sokoto to beg for presidency, to beg for political recognition. So until we realize how to build our bridges from near us and not jumping, we cannot make a headway. What the Igbo man can do now is, first of all, extend his tentacles. You could see how calm and collected the Southwest governors are. The Igbo leadership, from Ohanese to the governors, are in a chaotic state of mind. I don't know, because they have never had a focus, because they've actually seen the Fulani as their godfather. They've not built an inherent political ideology that will constrain their system as a people. So the people have to try to be, to think inwards, build up an identity of self-assertion, self-recognition, self-pride, and then go ahead. Benue State, the chief, the Doma, they need the Igbo people. The Southern Kaduna people need the Igbo people. If it happens today, our people are safer in this land. We are not safe in Kano. If they say we go today, you move to Kano, to Kaduna, Southern Kaduna, you move to Benue, you move to Kogi State, you are safer, apart from Ibira. The other parts of Kogi State, the Gala, the other people, they are friendly to the Igbo. So those areas that those people that they have soft spot for the Igbo, and they can easily they share the same historical experience, the same experience of operation from the Fulani. You go ahead and build a bridge of friendship with them, so that if Igbo man is talking about presidency, you'll be sure that the Benue man, the man from Plateau, the man from Southern Kaduna, the man from Southern Gombe, the man from Southern Bauchi, the man from the majority of them in Taraba and Adamawa State, who are mainly Christians, but have been suppressed because they don't have the resources to fight the Fulani. Even Southern Borno, they are Christians. Even in Kebbi, the Zulu Emirate are predominantly Christians, who are their godfathers. The Igbo man is supposed to play, Igbo men are supposed to play the role of godfathers by investing their resources in empowering these people to fight their political cause.
But is it possible, sorry for the interjection, is it possible that the Igbo politician might reason that the people of the Middle Belt are so disparate, they are so divided into small groups, that it will take a huge resource to mobilize all of them together, and then they simply prefer to work with a large ethnic bloc like the Hausa Fulani instead of trying to work with small ethnic groups that dominate the Middle Belt? What do you think?
The Middle Beltans are more united than Igbo with one language, because they have a common ideological setting founded on Christianity as opposed to Islam. They have a spiritual direction, so they can speak with one word. The Igbo, even with one language and one Christianity, cannot speak with one word. So it's a very false assumption. That's what I'm telling you. And I've worked with these people, and I know their political heartbeats.
If that were so, why was, and I recollect that Alex Ekweme worked very well with Solomon Lar, who was widely regarded as the leader of the Middlewest region for a long time, and yet that didn't deliver the presidency to Ekweme because they could not back a different candidate then in 1999 and again in 2003.
No, Ekweme had a very bad foundation, because remember, Ekweme had very bad foundation. If you look at the politics of Second Republic, you find that Ekweme was a stooge of the caliphate and he worked against these people. And Somora was anchorman of Zik in Plateau State. If you look at the politics of old Anambra State and Imo State, where today my main idols in Igbo leadership today remain Jim Wobodo and Simon Bakwe, who stood their ground against Hausa Fulani oligarchy. So Ekweme shouldn't have enjoyed the legacy, the largesse of political struggles. Moreover, the political struggle that came at that time was that of how do we palliate the Yoruba, the restless Yoruba group because of June 12th. And the women never struggled with June 12th. It was never part of the June 12th. You can also see the reason how did Jonathan emerge. Governor Odili was already a president in waiting. It's simply because the need to put down the restive Ijo and Naja Delta. They started to bring in Jonathan. So Ekweme lacked the indices, the political indices that should have made him to be chosen as the president of the federation at the time. So you look at certain intervening factors before you arrive at a conclusion.
Okay, at this point, we will be happy to welcome questions from our listeners. Please feel free to use the device to raise your hand, and then I'll see it, and then I'll call you up to pose questions to our guest tonight on this very important topic: Fulani domination of Igbo political leadership. Seeing the complexities of Nigeria politics today, what is the likelihood that what your projection will actually happen, where the Igbo will try to build different political alliance with the Middle Belt rather than always trying to build political alliance with the Core North?
You see, I'm a historian and I'm not a social scientist. The social scientists apply what we call the diachronic approach. We apply synchronic approach. We move with time. It's just like in physics, in physical sciences, you have what they call a scalar quantity and vector quantity. Scalar quantity has magnitude in no direction. Vector quantity has magnitude in direction. The historian operates within the realm of a vector fact. The point is very, very clear. If you look at the elections, fourth elections, the voting pattern during Obasanjo's time, in fact, that nearly the whole of Core North, voted against Obasanjo. And yet he won. He won on 2 occasions. He won. Jonathan the same thing. Most of the Core Northern states voted against Jonathan, and he won. So it is not, it means that we can still, the Igbo man can still win the election. We tell these people. We tell these people who are naturally, who are immutably unreliable and untrustworthy. If you mobilize the Middle Belt, the South, and the Yoruba group, who are the Fulani, who are the Northerners, they've tried it before, they've lost. And if let me say it, if General Buhari defeated Jonathan, it was not because they are more in population. It was because, first of all, they were able to mobilize the West against Jonathan. Even the East, they stopped the East from voting. What they did was gerrymandering. They made sure that the East did not vote. The South did not vote. Apart from Delta and River States, which other states turned above 600,000? Only Abia State tried to make it 400,000 voters for Jonathan.
Okay.
About 55,000. Enugu State about it. Yeah. So in fact, they have their own plan. They think ahead, just as they are now putting their people in the judiciary, putting younger ones, so that before you know, anytime you come, you always see their people at the head. And we are sleeping.
All right, at this point, Dr. Mwezi, I invited some colleagues, friends from northern part of Nigeria to this program to respond to some of the issues you've raised. I don't know whether they will be happy to speak or they are simply content to listen. Mr. Sani Said, I don't know whether you will be happy to respond. And Pamsen Dagiat, would you be happy to, because there is one issue, I think it was Pamsen that raised yesterday, also emphasizing the need for this political alliance between the Middle Belt, especially people of Southern Kaduna, with the Igbo political leadership. So I don't know whether you would like to say anything at this point, Mr. Pamsen. Do you want to mute yourself? And Sani too. Pamsen, are you there? No? Comrade Sani Said.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. Are you happy to respond to some of the issues raised in this discussion?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much once again for this wonderful opportunity. Although someone says that what is Sani doing? Okay, you said I should start my video, right?
Well, it's up to you. If you like to speak without video, it's up to you. Once you're hearing your voice.
Prefer to speak. Yeah, I prefer to speak without the video.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So, since I think from the theme of this program, I think it is not appropriate because it seems like it is a divisive element or theme. Because when you keep saying this Fulanization or Islamization agenda, it keeps sending signals to the mind of many that this agenda still exists. To me, there is nothing like the Fulanization or Islamization agenda. What we are seeing at the political terrain is a kind of nepotistic administration, whereby the person at the realm of affairs deems it fit to appoint his kinsmen to lead the country. And this one, going back to the history, it applies to the administration of Olusegun Obasanjo, applies same to the administration of Goodluck Jonathan, and that is what is replicating in the administration of Obasanjo. I gave certain example in the comment section of the Zoom meeting. For those, I gave reference so that people could go and view it, read it, and comprehend it further. For instance, the chief of army staff during the administration of Jonathan was Kenneth Minima. His Minister of Defense of Finance was Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Minister of Petroleum was Dizani Alison Madukwe. Inspector General of Police was Solomon Arasi. CBN Governor was Godwin Emefiele, and a host of others. So that is purely nepotistic. And there wasn't any Muslim northerner that raised alarm that Jonathan was trying to Christianize Nigeria. So we should remove that at the back of our mind. Oh, now just think, is there anyone capable of dethroning any Eastern chief and plant a northerner, to rule the people? That's not possible. Is there any northerner that is capable of, converting any Christian by force into Islam? That is not possible. We are in the 21st century. We're supposed to be thinking in an advanced manner. No one can force anyone to any religion. Now, let's think of this insecurity. It started at the north. The Kanuris, who are the people controlling Boko Haram, they started killing fellow northerners and Muslims, of course. They don't differentiate between Christians and Muslims here in the north. And now, before anyone is killed in the south, you hear of hundreds of people killed in the north. So the height of insecurity in the north is quite disheartening. It is also disturbing us. Of recent, the students kidnapped in
Okay, I think he has a problem with his network. Let's hope. Okay.
Hello?
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead and round up.
Okay. So we should remove this thing at the back of our mind. Now, if we have an Igbo president, the first thing he will do is to make sure that all his kinsmen are implanted in sensitive position. That is the cause. I am not trying to be nepotistic myself, but that is our belief in Nigeria. Once you are there, make sure your people are also there. That is the general belief. And this thing is there at the back of our mind. Someone just tried to replicate it in the comment section by saying that what is Sani doing in an Igbo-dominated program? which is not supposed to be so. These Igbo are my brothers. At least the history of a Hausa man cannot be completed without putting the Igbo man inside. He has contributed immensely to the development of Hausa people and Hausa nation. Now just come to the north. Just whatever village you can think of, if you go, you must find an Igbo man with his shop, either selling spare parts or medication. In each and every nook and crannies of the north, you will find Igbo people there. Now, just think of what happened during the NSAS protest. How many northerners were killed in the south, in Port Harcourt, in Aba, in so many places? Did any northerner kill an Igbo man here in the north? Just think of it, a single person. But we have many scenarios whereby Hausa people were killed, their properties burned down in the south, in the southeast. Yes, it is there. You can Google it. It is there. So let's always be thinking of one Nigeria. In a situation whereby we keep thinking of the Fulanization or Islamization agenda, we will never be one. And if we think of separating, we shouldn't separate as the way North and Southern Sudan separated. We should separate through referendum peacefully, so that Sani, when he's traveling to Akwa Ibom or Enugu, he will just obtain visa and travel without fear. He will travel, do his business there, come back to the north.
Thank you very much, Sani. I hope you will still be around. If there is any other issue, you may want to still contribute. Thank you very much for this contribution. I'm sure Dr. Mwezigwe took note of some of the issues you raised and may want to respond, and then we will call on Pamson again if he's ready. But meanwhile, let's go to Dr. Mwezigwe at this point.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Pamson, if you just wait for some minutes, let Dr. Mwezigwe reply to Sandy before I will call you back.
Yeah,
that's okay.
First of all, let me correct the impression created by our friend Sandy, who is just trying to paint black white, which is impossible. First of all, Boko Haram is not empowered by Kanuri. If you know the ethnic configuration of Northwest, Northeast, the Fulani are there. After the Kanuri, you have the Fulani. You have other ethnic groups there, like the Fika. In fact, the emir of Damaturu today is a Fulani. So I don't know what he's talking about. And I've been there. I passed through that place. I've interacted them. You have the Shua Arab. You have the Kanem. You have the Fulani. If you go down to Adama, where Boko Haram is also operating, they're dominated by Fulani. You cross over to the other side, Temerun side. I've been to the other side, Banyo, which is a Fulani town in Temerun. I've been to Tabita, which is a Fulani town in Tabita. I've been to Ngandere, the capital of Adamawa region in Temerun, which is Fulani. They are connected with the Boko Haram battle. So I don't know what he's talking about.
I think the question is asking is similar to what I asked before anyway. The makeup of the Boko Haram jihadists is not Fulani, definitely. It is more of Kanuri membership. And then when they started their terrorist activities, they are also killing Muslims. They didn't differentiate between who is a Christian and who is a Muslim.
Excuse me, Chief Elomba, I am talking from the stable of an expert. The average Kanuri is one of the most gentle men in Nigeria. The Shua Arabs are also very gentle. If you have been to Lake Chad region, the people who radicalize are the Fulani, the Kanem. They are the people who radicalize Boko Haram. And they are found, and most of them troops from Central African Republic to join their ranks. So,
okay, how would you respond to the other issue he raised, that what is happening in what is happening in the governance of Nigeria is just presidents being nepotistic, appointing their kinsmen to positions of responsibilities rather than appointing on the basis of merit. They appoint people from their own ethnic groups to man those sensitive positions.
First of all, it's wrong because it's not in tune with Nigerian history. Minima just came in after Ihe Jerika. And here Shirika just came after Luka. And Bagde was chief of defense staff from the north, the chief of air staff from west, the chief of naval staff from the north, also from the south. At the later stage, and then later changed. So Jonathan never had a specific ethnic group dominating his regime. He changed them. And they
No, he did. He did.
Yeah, he did. Yes.
Jonathan appointed a predominant people from the southeast and south into his government.
No, please. Check the list. Check the list. We are talking of Ijo. We are not talking of Northerners. We are talking of Ijo. How many Ijo people, apart from the same Madeke and Minima who came late? We are now talking of, we are not talking of Ijo, we are talking of the South. It's a question of North. If the present regime is appointing Northerners, which will include Middle Beta, the Hausa, the Kanuri, and the other areas, it will be a different thing. We are talking of a minority group, Fulani.
But if we follow your argument, Buhari was also appointing the Kanuri, this chief of army staff, the former chief of army staff was a Kanuri, the demand that just left, that stayed there for almost all eternity before he left.
You got it wrong. If you don't know what is happening in Nigeria, Buhari, mother they claim is from Kanuri, and he was once governor of northeastern states, which included Bauchi State and Borno and others. They say his mother is from Kanuri. But we are not going to go into that because there are a lot of stories to tell about his origin and his existence. We are talking about a particular group, not Hausa. We are talking about the Torobe. The Hausa, they are known among them as the Toronko or Torobe, not even Fulani. We are talking of the Torobe, the Toronko one, dominating the judiciary from Chief Justice of Nigeria to Chief of Appeal Court. The present IG
is the Chief Justice a Fulani?
You are asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you. Is he a Fulani?
100% Fulani. And
is the IGP of police a Fulani?
The present police is a Fulani from Yobe State, not a Kanuri, not a Fika. Because there are many other, there are other ethnic groups in Yobe State. But the present one is Fulani, and Fulani is one of the dominant ethnic groups in Yobe State. The chief of defense
is the chief of defense staff. Where is he from?
The chief of defense staff. The chief of defense staff is from database. The chief of defense staff is a commander without command. The chief of defense staff is just a commander. It's just a ceremonial appointment. He has no division. He has no army. So for us who know the intricacies of military command, we know it's not like appointing me in band division, education corps, and appointing you in armored corps that you think is the same appointment. The chief of staff is chief of defense staff is a ceremonial staff. It's a ceremonial appointment. He has no command. He has no troop under him. So forget it. It is political.
All right, let's call on with thank you. Let's call on Pamson, please. What's your contribution? Pamson.
Yes, good evening all. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you very well.
Okay. We just want to say that what Sani narrated is yesterday I was telling you about the moderates against the fanatics. The moderates will give you the semblance of understanding that all is well. If you follow the constitution, you will understand that these things are permissible. But the reality, in the practical sense of it, you will find out that this thing is tweaked against the obvious. So I would rather accept what he said with a pinch of salt. Let's talk about the statistics he even dished out. I would have preferred if he would have placed the statistics side by side. During Jonathan, for this particular position, it was this. But during Buhari is this. During Jonathan, this other position is this. That way, you will be able to see and make reference. But putting the statistics that way, selecting agencies, how many agencies do we have? How many federal agencies do we have? And you are bringing 30. We have more than 100 agencies. So what happened to the other 70 something? So I think when it comes to statistics, I am a statistician by profession and by discipline, and I am privileged to be the pioneer statistician general of Plateau State. So if we are presenting statistics, let's present the statistics in a way that it will be fair, and then the interpretation should make meaning. But let me get back to the real crux of my own narration. Prof was very right. I think it is we in the Middle Belt that are looking up to the East, knowing that we share a common religious affinity, because the Middle Belt, what is making us, the bond we are having within the Middle Belt is the Christianity. What many of you don't realize is that we are at the crisis line between where the Muslim stops and then the Christian starts. So you will not understand the kind of pressure we are having here. So if somebody is telling you some of those things and then some of us marveled, so there must be an understanding from the East that in the Middle Belt, you have your brothers, even if it is not by cultural affinity, but by religious understanding. During election, the biggest line of mobilization is religion at the northern part. And it is working for them. And that is why I laugh. If the Igbos just believe that by playing the politics the way they are playing it, without understanding where you must drive your line of mobilization, you bring in the Middle Belters, bring your Igbo strength, bring the South-South, at least we will have gotten a 50% standing in respect to the presidency. Therefore, it will now be for us, both sides now, to struggle and get which one will now be the majority. But that's not how the Igbos are playing it. They just believe that, okay, if the caliphate have a way of manipulating things, why don't we just get tied to them? Just like Obasanjo got into the power because of the caliphate inclination to him. The reason for the inclination for Obasanjo is clear. June 12 came and there was issues. And they are looking for a liberal who understands, who will not be so aggressive to the North. And then they got that person in Obasanjo. And that is how he became president. So let's not deceive ourselves that it was because he has a political equation and mathematics. No. So I was thinking this presentation will really, I was just trying to understand how is the Igbo leadership being affected by is it the Fulanization or by the Northern hegemony, how it is being affected. But when we're looking at the general Nigerian scenario. If that is the case, then the Igbo must look at the line of mobilization for them to even have a shot at the presidency. Just like we in the Middle Belt, it is clear we cannot have a shot of this presidency. Anytime they say it is the North, they will tell you that the North is not the Middle Belt. During Obasanjo, for instance, when he was appointing Middle Belters, didn't MSRs from the core North went to him and said that he's not appointing the Northerners? It was clear during Obasanjo it happened. This is a live scenario that all of us are partakers of it. So we need to understand this line of divide. And then we that have this minority strength towards the presidency must come together and then pull our strengths together. And then that is the only way. And I think that is the line I am behind the prof, because he seems to understand that very well. And yesterday, somebody really made it clear that the average Igbo man do not understand who the Middle Belters are. He sees us as the core North, and that has always been our problem.
Thank you very much.
I would like to stop here. Maybe thereafter, I mean, have cause to. Yes.
All right. Okay. We thank you. Now, Dr. Mweziwe, following from what Pamson have just said, let me ask a question. Whenever I hear someone, a professional like you, discussing this issue of Fulanization and Islamization agenda, this thing that we call Fulanization or Islamization agenda, is it simply a group of politicians using their ethnicity for political for domination? Or is it a question of an ethnic group trying to conquer and usurp the resources of another ethnic group. Are you able to distinguish the two?
Yeah. You see, the point is that Islam is not the core objective of jihad. Political domination, which comes with economic domination, is at the center of every jihad. If you know what it means by jihad, the concept of jihad of Islam. But religion comes in. When Usman Dan Fodio came and mobilized other Hausa people to conquer the Seriki, the ruling Hausa king, he used Islam, even though those people were Muslims. When the same Usman Dan Fodio went in to attack the men of Borno and then the Shehu of Borno, for Christ's sake, Borno people have seen Christian, they have become Muslim since 8th century AD. And then how could the Fulani who saw Islam in 16th century now talk of converting them? So it was political, and that was the problem, the major argument between Usman Dan Fodio and with his son, Mohammed Bello, and El Kanami, Mohammed Alamin El Kanami, the Shehu of Borno. Why are you attacking me? I'm a Muslim like you. And he was telling him, you are not a good Muslim, you are not a good Muslim. And today, the same Fulani people are using Islam to even cover some Yoruba Muslims to start resisting their people. There is Islam to talk of we are one not. There is Islam to make Nupe redundant and forget their ethnic identity. Using Islam to make the Hausa become perpetual slaves unto them. And they're using Islam to even make the Ibira who have the same cultural relationship with us, think that they are now closer to the Fulani than to us. Even some Igala, I'm thinking of such. Because in the deceptivity of using religion, using Islam to deceive people. But the actual aim is conquest. Actual aim is domination, political conquest, which goes with economic conquest. Because the Fulani everywhere, apart from cattle, they do not have any other business. The only exception from my research is the Fulani of Guinea Conakry, who are mainly traders now, selling, merchandise, selling like Igbo people. Reason, because the Susu and the Madingo have alienated them from political contests in Guinea.
Let's hear from Sani again, sir.
Guinea Conakry. That's just the difference.
Okay, let's hear from Sani, please. Comrade Sani, please. You can unmute yourself. Sani Said, please. Can you unmute yourself?
Sir. Yes, I've just unmuted. Okay, I just want to make some corrections here with regard to the Boko Haram issue. You see, the first leader of Boko Haram is Muhammad Yusuf, who is Kanuri by tribe. The second leader now is Shekau, who is also Kanuri by tribe. And the other faction leader is Al-Barnawi, who was recently gone down by, I think, men of the armed forces. So this make it purely a Kanuri phenomena, because it is the leadership that we will consider, not anything like Fulani. Most so, with regard to the issue of the guy talking from Plateau State, I was also born and brought up in Plateau State, Barikiladi to be precise, Barikiladi local government. To tell him that I know a little bit of about Plateau State. Now, when you talk of middle belt, is there anything constitutionally recognized as middle belt? That's the question we need to be asking ourselves. All we know is that we have the Northwest, Northeast, and the North Central. And the middle belt seems to fall within the North Central. That is Kogi, Nasarawa, Plateau, and some other states. So if you want to differentiate anything like middle belt, get it constitutionally right first before you say anything. More so now on religion and culture. These are two different things. When religion came into Nigeria, there are certain cultures that were forbidden. For instance, like the killings of the twins. It was regarded as unconstitutional, something evil. The twins were regarded as evil by culture, but with scientific fact and evidence, it was now verified that the evil, it is nothing concerning evil. It has nothing to do with evil. So there are something, I want to establish a particular fact here. When doctor was saying that the Muslims were trying to stop people like from Niger, that's I've forgotten the tribe. The Niger tribe, he just mentioned Gwari and some other tribes. He mentioned that the Islam want to dominate them and want to stop them from practicing their culture. This is totally true. If you are practicing Islam, there are certain cultural traits that you have to stop them. So the Islam preaches against those things. If he is not aware of what the Islamic teaching stated, he should stop quoting verses that he is not conversant, familiar with. That's on the issue of religion and culture. They are two different things. So when we talk of Islam, culture doesn't come in. Culture has to be stepped aside. Now I am a Hausa by tribe and a Muslim, but there are certain traditional beliefs we have as far as Hausa people are concerned. But if I am to practice Islam as the way it is stated in our Holy Quran, I have to stop my Hausa practice, Hausa religious practice. Just like the Igbos now, they have their traditional beliefs. So if they are to practice Christianity perfectly, they have to stop that traditional belief. So that is what is exactly happening here in the North. No one is trying to dominate some ethnic groups, but the preachers of the religion, that is what matters. He has been saying Fulanization or Fulani and Islamic domination. Politics is a game of number. In the North, we have 19 states. How many states do you have in the Southeast? How many states do you have in the Southwest? It is a game of number. So if you have the number, come out with the number and vote your president. And since 1990, we've been forming alliance. The North has been forming alliance. I don't want to be partisan or be much into politics because that is not where we are heading to. We want to understand a particular aspect, but he keeps bringing something regarding to politics and politicizing the matter, which is not supposed to be so. Now let's talk about the politics. It is a game of number. The Hausa keep making alliance with the Yorubas, and at the end it pays off. What matters in politics is payoff. So if the Igbo deems it fit, they can also form alliance with either the Hausa or Yoruba and claim the number one position, just like what happened in the last election. The PDP vice president was Igbo. So assuming they were able to take power, it will be a Hausa Igbo presidency. It will be a kind of Hausa Igbo presidency. So that's it. That's my take on this. We should stop politicizing this issue and face the fact. Thank you very much, sir.
I thank you very much. I'm flowing from your comment. Let me also pose this question now, flowing from what you said. Politics being a game of numbers. Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe in 1963, in 1960, rather than forming an alliance with the Action Group, who is open to that, chose to form an alliance with NPC. In 2011, Buhari wanted to form an alliance with ACN, with Tinubu's ACN. The alliance did not work. And because Tinubu's ACN and the CPC failed to form that alliance, Jonathan defeated Buhari in 2011. Then in 2015, Tinubu's FCN and Buhari's CPC succeeded in forming that alliance, formed APC, and clinched the presidency. If they had failed to form that alliance in 2015, it is likely that Jonathan of PDP will have won.
Exactly.
So if politics is a game of numbers, why do the Igbos always talk about this Fulanization as if there is a law, something that stops them from also forming this alliance we are talking about with other ethnic like the Yorubas, for example, and then clinching the presidency? That's my question.
And more so, before now, Buhari once chooses Okadigbo as his vice president, and he was unable to clinch the ticket.
Please, let us address.
That's it. So my battery is down. I think I have to connect my battery.
I thank you very much, Fanny. Dr. Moezigo, what do you have to say to that?
Let me ask him some questions. Please, let him know, switch off his battery. Tell him. Please,
no, go ahead. You're addressing the public, not just in. People are listening.
First of all, you see, I don't like people telling me I should not quote Bible. I can't tell a Muslim not to quote Bible if he has the reason, to contradict me as a Christian. And I've told him clearly. First of all, he's false in what he's saying. First, he's not an Hausa. Because if you're an Hausa, he should not have spoken the way, he spoke. Because the Hausa people are downtrodden today. Secondly, if he's talking about cultural precepts in Islam, why is it that the Fulani Buroro, the main people causing problems to the Fulani herdsmen are not Muslims? They don't go to mosque. They believe in their tradition, and the emirs and their preachers have continued to condone, not only condone them, but to use them as their weapon of jihad. That's from 19th century. And it's telling us Islam does not want it. Is it not hypocrisy on the right of the caliphate? Your people you are using to harass and intimidate people and kidnap people and kill innocent people are not Muslim. And you're telling us you want us to become Muslim. You also failed to tell us how many Hausa people are occupying important political positions in Nigeria today. You should also tell us at what point did Meiti Allah Kuta came up? When did the Fulani begin to define themselves as an exclusive, as a separate entity in Nigeria? For long, we have all known one thing, Hausa Fulani, Hausa Fulani. From nowhere, we heard about the Fulani now, the Fulani now. Nobody talks about Hausa now. It is Fulani, Fulani. At what point? At what point? Because now, we as scholars, it is now uncultural for us to mention Hausa Fulani in our writings. You don't write as a historian, you don't say Hausa Fulani. We no longer apply it. We talk about the Fulani and Hausa. But a decade ago, it was all Hausa Fulani, Hausa Fulani. It should tell us at what point did they now rise up after hibernating and planning to now assert their independence identity. And again, politics, they are nothing like politics is a game of numbers. Politics is the ability to manipulate numbers, whether false or truth. And that is what has been happening in Nigeria, both in census and in elections. So it does not matter the alliance you make. And if Jega was removed, as Okwadike demanded Jonathan to do, Buhari should not have won the election. So it was not the question of number, but it was Jega's ability to manipulate number. Where's monkeys of 2 years, 3 years voted, and we are showing the videos, live and direct. So you are telling us. Did
anyone stop the Igbos from also manipulating numbers? They manipulated numbers in 2011.
Moderator, I beg your pardon. You are a judge here. And you should.
I'm asking a question. It's just a question.
You are on a table of justice. And we're talking about justice in Nigeria. If we are, like everybody now, like you now have herdsmen, you now have bandits, you now have unknown gunmen. Nigeria is in a chaotic situation. Now, because everybody now see evil as their own game. We are talking of a just society. We are talking of a nation with equality, justice, and fair play, equity.
Okay,
we are not saying because
let's invite
go and become armed robber. No, if we want to, if we're actually making Nigeria, a good nation for us and a peaceful nation for us to live. Let us talk about justice And let us not be jealous of those and then partake in the same injustice.
Okay, let's call on Ezeluchi at this point. Can you please unmute yourself?
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, what was the question, please? The question, I am on the question.
I thought you were raising up your hand, yes. So I called on.
Okay, good. What I wanted to say was, I've heard from both Sani and the man who spoke earlier before Sani and the doctor, and I am one how this factors in with precision for the doctor, because the reality in Nigeria is that we tend to over politicize issues. When you say politics is a game of numbers, and you belittle it because it's more than numbers, like Dr. Izgu was just trying to help. It is far much more than numbers. There are factors that play in which beyond even our control as Nigerians. The international forces are there. We know what happened to the Jonathan presidency. It was not just a domestic affair. I'm saying that it's of forming alliances. That is not the fact. Right from even the Zix alliance with the North group, it was a coerced alliance. I mean, there was reasons. Zik was actually blackmailed into forming that alliance. He had no hope, he had choice. So we have to try to look at the underlying issues, not just approach politics from just what is thrown at us. There are several factors which go in, and we should begin to, if we don't understand those factors, we'll always keep on going around in circles. Like as it is now, approaching an election cycle, and we are still thinking it's a matter of alliance. We don't realize that some foreign forces have a vested interest in one, keeping Nigeria together, because the more it's kept together, the more they can milk the contraption the way and as they like. The same way that they want to keep Nigeria together is how they are forcing Congo to remain together. A country that has never seen governance, but the West will want to be together so that they can plan where they like. That is the same thing happening in Nigeria. Keeping Nigeria together is for the benefit of foreign interests and not to the benefit of any Nigerian. No tribe in Nigeria benefits from the way Nigeria is. And when I say no tribe, even the Northerners, the Fulani, the Hausa, nobody is benefiting. You have a less than 0. Minuscule percentage of Nigerians are even benefiting from the scam called Nigeria for now. So we should first of all address the issue. How do we make Nigeria, how do we restrict Nigeria for our own interests? Because as it is, Nigeria is being kept together by foreign interests for the ability to milk the country. That's what I think we should be looking at. Thank you.
All right, we thank you very much. Let me ask a final question before we come to the end of this program. Dr. Mwezigwe,
yes.
If the Igbo intelligentsia,
yes.
the Igbo billionaires,
yes.
and the Igbo politicians
yes.
come together and agree on one political candidate in one political party and mustered resources the way they not mustered resources for General Obasanjo in 1999, do you think that such candidate could win the presidency with such massive support from the Igbo intelligentsia and the Igbo elite?
You know, politics is a gold mine in its sense. It's not the amount of money you put in that matters. It is in networking. It is ability to network. And what we're saying is that the Igbo have not even networked. It's not by campaigning, going to not, no, it's not the resources, it's not one candidate that matters. You can end up having the 3 political parties or 2 political parties having Igbo people as candidates, as the Fulani did in the case of Buhari and Atiku, and the Yoruba did in the case of Falei and Obasanjo. But it is networking. And networking does not require excessive resources. It's getting the right people. But the Igbo leadership have a tendency of, oh, I know this man's face, even though he's not able to do it. Let him go because he's my brother. Oh, this man, even though he has a talent, he will not dance to my own tune. He will not be there. We're giving the side. What Nigeria needs now is What the Igbo man is cross-cutting alliances. Reach out to the middle belts. Reach out to the Yoruba. Reach out to the South. The middle belt are crying for Southerners to come to their aid. It is what? It is a fertile ground. The Christians will say, the evangelists will say, the labor is plenty, but the laborers are few. The middle belt, let the Igbo people, how many Igbo leaders, how many Igbo governors have gone to Plateau? I've gone to Benue State to sympathize with
Azikiwe did it. Azikiwe did it. Azikiwe got Plateau and Benue State.
No, Azikiwe didn't get Benue State. Azikiwe didn't get Benue State because
Nigerian People's Party got Benue State in 1979.
Plateau. Benue State, because of Taka, Joseph Taka went to MPN. Unongo from Katsina Ala was with Zip, but he did not make it. I'm telling you as a historian, and that is my own area. Joseph Taka, who was leader of United Middle Belt Congress, was Obasanjo's Awolowo's ally in the First Republic. In the Second Republic, he aligned with MPN.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Let's hear from Mazi HDM Okoye, please. Can you unmute yourself? Mazi Okoye, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Elomba, and thank you, Mr. Wankwo or Dr. Wankwo. I think the issue that we're discussing, I think, is not as binary as we are trying to put it. I know that the Fulanis perhaps do have an agenda to Fulanize Nigeria, and that's where it's a bit difficult to sort of, see how they are going about it, because there's no proper sort of study to say, okay, this is what they are doing, or this is what they are not doing. There's a lot of gray area that actually, if you start to, pursuing that reasoning, you come to a wall that actually is not the case, that perhaps there is a general sort of political elite in Nigeria that is hell-bent on keeping their own people down in order to be able to, that elite of each section of Nigeria, to be milking the people, not only the Fulanis, but the other sort of ethnic regions in Nigeria. Because, Jonathan was the president of Nigeria a little while ago. Things didn't get any better under Jonathan. Obasanjo, things didn't get better for the Yorubas then. So I think there is that general consensus from my own point of view of the Nigerian political elite, whereby the individual sections of the country, their elite, their political elite, are hell-bent on keeping their population down so that the political elite of that region will be milking the rest of the people. I don't think that the Fulanis can, in a million years, Fulanize Nigeria. That is impractical. That is impossible. That is, they cannot do that. They'll not be able to do that without, all Nigeria being burnt in one day. So I think there is something that we are missing with regards to our own political leaders, our own political elites, who goes to make these deals, this goes to make these alliances with these Fulanis or whatever tribe they try to make these alliances with. So I think we have to, put that into consideration that our own people, our own political elites don't really want to, come to terms with regards to what is going on. Perhaps they are in it. They are parts and parcels of this, whatever you might call it, Fulanization of Nigeria, or what have you. That's my own opinion.
I thank you very much. Let's also hear from Dr. Henry Ogune. Please, can you unmute yourself, sir?
Good evening, gentlemen. and ladies, and thanks for this conference. It's very, very, very well educating, very enriching, and it's been very civil so far, unlike most Nigerian discussions. But I think, in all honesty, we are being too academic about all this discussion. We have not really asked the people what they want. I'm a Nigerian, I live in the diaspora. If you ask a typical Nigerian what they want, I think they want something different from what we're discussing. Talking about the Igbos, is actually only the very minor percentage of Igbo politicians that are talking about Igbo presidency. 99.99% of Igbo people don't want Igbo presidency. They actually don't want to be a part of Nigeria. Same applies to Yoruba. Only the few Yoruba elites, and according to what the last speaker said, those people who are milking and keeping their own people down, that want to be a part of this Nigeria. I think a more civil discussion will be to ask people what they want. And as we stand now, Nigeria looks like a relationship where each party relationship is cheating on one another. So, in all honesty, the most amicable thing there is to find a way to separate the relationship without degenerating to bloodshed. That may be the only sustainable way going forward. Any other thing would be like keeping people who doesn't want to be together. And if people who don't want to be together are kept together, there will be no progress and there will be no nation building. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think there was also another hand that I saw, Ugu, someone. I think the hand is now down. I would have loved everybody to make his comments and then invite our eminent guest to make his final submissions before we round it up. Okay, Raymond, please, can you? Okay, Ugu Ikenga is back. Okay, let's hear Raymond and then go to Ugu Ikenga, please. Ugu, sorry, I've already called them. Raymond Onebu, please. Mr. Onebu, can you please unmute yourself? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity once again. And I have been listening from the starting of this program. And from what I recall, or what I see, you see, when a president came into power, he see his tribe or his area as the Nigeria, which all of us agreed on. And when we look at that clearly, we see even the president himself is dividing the country directly or indirectly. We witnessed this from Obasanjo, but in the case of Muhammadu Buhari, it's too much. And now we keep on asking Fulanization or Islamization. When a certain group of people will come or make a law that you must bring your land for us to rear our cattle, and if you don't do that, we kill you, and it's not a threat, and they are doing it. It bothers me a lot why we are still playing politics, talking about one Nigeria, when we know that there is no one Nigeria. We have to be honest, like the last speaker said, and even the other person, what is his name, Patterson, said it, that let us not separate maybe with the violence or with the gun. But when you look around how things is going, you cannot build a nation with your enemy. There is no need of painting it or camouflaging it or talking it away that we are on television, people are listening. Is it not better we tell ourselves the truth and know which way forward? How can we be in Eastern Zone, seeing people coming there, killing our fathers, killing our mothers, killing women with their children on their back? Not one, not two, not in one location, not in two, not in three locations, all over Igbo land. And we are still saying as we don't feel it, we don't know it. Somebody is also saying, how can we force somebody, we are in this century or we are not in this century? Do we see what is happening? What is happening now? We don't need to go to 1914 to see exactly what is happening now. So now what we have to do now is there is not a time for us to go and pray and fasting. Cannot do any good to us. When somebody bring a war into your house, the person already push you to the wall. You must come out and defend yourself in any means. Sometimes last time, some people were saying, but they kill Fulanis in Owerri, they kill them in Aba, they kill them in Omaya, they kill them in Akokwa. But have you seen an Igbo people that went to any northern part of Nigeria and kill people with their farm and no arrest is being made? Instead, the military will come and take their dead bodies away and hide them. I'm in Nigeria and I feel bad when sometimes I listen to people trying to painting what is they see with their naked eye as if it's not what is happening really. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We have so many hands. Joy Amado, please. Are you able to unmute yourself? Okay. Ugu Ikenga Patrick, can you unmute yourself?
Good evening, all.
You're welcome.
I just want to appreciate the organizers of this conference. It's a very wonderful one, and then the presenters and all those who have been contributing, very, very wonderful. I just want, if you look at, even for instance, the geography of Nigeria, you begin to wonder whether there is even something like not when they talk about North Central. What do they mean by North Central? If you look at it from a common man perspective, just use your hand to draw, to divide Nigeria. Look at the Nigerian map, divide it into two equal halves. And you tell me all the states that fall within the south and those that fall within the northern part of Nigeria. So you see that the typical northern person, so that you even see Benue State is very, very far down south. Plateau is down south. What do we talk about when we talk about North Central? What do we mean by that? When all these states are down, what a typical northern person is politically conscious and uses every means possible within his own circumference and parameters to gain power. Because when you have political domination, economically you dominate, socially you dominate, every aspect of life you dominate. So they use, when it comes to politics, it's not just a question of number. It's not just a question of number, but it's survival of the fittest. Who has the power to manipulate? But here we're trying to talk about, in a conference like this, we are trying to project and advance a situation where we attain equity, justice, like the presenter has been talking about, equity, justice, fairness. But you discover that because the core northerner is politically conscious, when it comes to political position, they will now remember that we have 19 northern states. It's not 19 northern states. To co-opt these other people without them knowing in order to get the number. But even in the real case of the whole thing, it is manipulation. Who told you that Buhari won the election during in 2015? It was manipulation. The person who has the power to manipulate. And that was why the presenter was talking about if they changed Jega, there was no way Buhari would have won this thing. So it is, what we should be talking about is fairness, justice, and how to, and then at the end of it all, it just boils down to what we are saying. Nigeria is simply a scam. It is a scam. Why is it that presently, just like the last speaker said, so many issues, north, south, east, west, everywhere we have crisis now, but the president cannot even talk. because most of the people perpetrating these things seem to have one affiliation with him or the other. And you see that when we talk about state police and all that, then they don't want to listen to that because there is a unilateral commanding. It comes from Abuja, such that our state governors, who it is claimed that they are chief executives of the various states, they are constitutionally powerless. Constitutionally, they are powerless. They cannot function. So it is that we don't want to accept justice. We don't want to accept equity. We don't want to accept the truth.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll take Joy Wanda now, and then Onwasanya FCC Jones, and then Pampson, and then please we go back to our guest to sum up his presentations today. Joy Wanda, please.
Good evening.
You're welcome, sir.
I want to thank Dr. Tony Wezigwe and his explanation on everything. But I want to ask simple question, and which I want the audience to answer. Number one, can we still be Nigeria with this situation that we have created high level of enmity among ourselves within the ethnic group? And if we still believe that we can still be Nigerian, can any of us tell me how it can be possible? That's my question, and I would like the answer.
Well, thank you very much. I hope Dr. Wezigwe is taking note of all the comments and questions when he will respond. Let's take all of them and then round up because we have only a few minutes remaining. Onwasanya FCC Jones, please.
Good evening, Daniel Olumba. Good evening, everyone. I am very sorry I joined the discussion late. So I will be very brief in my submission. I think I must admit and also appreciate the fact that majority of Nigerians are dissatisfied and understandably frustrated with how Nigeria is going at the moment. But I also think that the popular as the idea or the opinion that we are better off going our different ways is, I still think it is a lazy man's approach or a lazy man's solution idea to solving Nigeria's problems. We must not continue to fall into the temptation of stereotyping every Hausa or Fulani man as being responsible for Nigeria's problems. The Fulanis are as well suffering. The Hausas are suffering as a result of a failed leadership system in the country. If I may suggest, like I always do, my idea about how best to get Nigeria out of its current troubles is for us to transmute our anger, our dissatisfaction to more patriotic ideas on how to provide Nigeria with better governance at all levels. There is no how it can be proven by anybody that up to 40% of Hausas or Fulanis are in support of the imbalance, of the injustice, of the wickedness that have become the culture of our political leadership over the years. There is no how it can be proven that the Yoruba man or 40% or 50% of Yorubas are in support of the 8 years or 16 years or 12 years of errors or mistakes or wickedness or corruption that was perpetrated by a member or members of their ethnic group who at one time or the other held sway in the country. There's no how it can also be proven that 40 or 50% of Igbo people are in support of the bad governance going on across the Southeast states. If we must tell ourselves the truth, the idea of secession is not a sustainable option, alternative to solving Nigeria's problems. Because over the years, even though the fact that a lot of people or a particular section or some sections of the country seem to be at a better advantage numerically or politically, and thereby taking more federation allocations from the federal government of Nigeria. That does not also wipe away the fact that we have had very irresponsible leaders in the Southeast and across all regions of this country over the years. There is no law. It is not because of the fault in our constitution that a councillor can make away with funds meant for the development of his ward or community. It is not because of the constitution that a pastor will make away with monies contributed by his parishioners to develop the church, and he rather uses it to develop his family and send his children abroad while his parishioners suffer. It is not because of our constitution that the President General of a town union will make away with monies meant for the development of his community and leave his people in penury and hunger. It is not because of our constitution or the structure of the country. It is not the fault of the Fulani man or the Hausa man or the Hausa or the Fulani headsman that the market leader in our local market makes away with monies meant for the development of the market. So we must begin to talk about the issues and reduce our emotion. We must seriously try not to be too emotional about these issues. Every one of us, if we can transmute our anger, our dissatisfaction, our energy in preaching for dissolution of Nigeria into investing in changing the political system, in making our political leaders more responsible, more responsive to issues of governance in the country, I think we'll be better off. Because even if Nigeria is dissolved at the moment the way it is today, there will still be problems across all regions. Even if we are to create 36 countries out of the present day Nigeria, there will still be issues. Because there will still be people in different, we have communal clashes across states. The bordering community with Imo State, the bordering community with Abia State are still fighting over issues that can easily be resolved if we sit down around the table. So we must try as much as possible. For those who are asking for referendum, is it not the same INEC? Are we going to import angels from heaven or people from America to come and conduct the referendum for us? The same INEC that has been accused of conducting some of the worst elections in the history of democracy. So if they conduct a referendum today and tell us that only 5% of people voted for secession, what do? We continue fighting. So that is it. Thank you very much, and God bless all of us.
Thank you very much for that brilliant submission. We'll take lastly from Pamson before we go to Dr. Mwezi, and of course, any other person that may want to contribute after, so that we won't keep our guests staying here the whole night. We'll call it a day after that and then continue the discussion if we want to. Pamson, please.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, I will have just turned down speaking because the last speaker kind of poured out my mind. But I just felt, let me add up on what he said. Number one, the Middle Belt is not an imaginary region. Even during the First Republic, the Middle Belt came together and had a united Middle Belt party. So for somebody to tell you, because of the caliphate balkanization of the geographical space into states, and that is now telling you that there is nothing like a Middle Belt, that's a lie. So let us get that very clear. And that Middle Belt is your ally and is your friend. Number two, you have a wife with a pregnancy, and you want to terminate that pregnancy because you believe that the second baby that she will bring out with after this one will be better than this one. That is the kind of mindset I think the Igbos are looking at Nigeria. We too can play this game. We have been with these people. We too can play this game. The Fulani, in actual sense, in their number, they are not even, their population is not up to the Hausa's population. But they have been able to take control of the chieftaincy, or what they call the feudal system, and then brought these people under them. You will recall that in Kaduna, just of recent, the governor have revoked the what they call the chiefdoms that his predecessor had, and that created independence for the southern Kaduna chiefdoms. He has brought them back to the Zauzau chiefdom. That is to say, they have a way of trying to control the space that is within what they claim to be their own region. We too can play this game. We understand this game. We in the Middle Belt, if we relate with you, the only problem the Middle Belt is having is that we are short of funding, which is the advantage that the Southeast have. Without the government dollars, they have been able to create an enterprise on themselves, and then they have been able to consolidate when it comes to financial strength. That is a mistake that we in the Middle Belt, we were not able to key into that. But immediately we have this alliance, we will tell you the secrets. You will understand the way they go. We can beat these people in their game, but we need this alliance. First of all, they believe in Islam first before their region or their area or their community. But we always look at our tribe or our region or our community first before our religion. That twist is what has been giving them the strength to be moving the way they are moving. And if we have an alliance, we understand this religious dichotomy, and we decide to use it for once. Let's have this alliance between the Middle Belt, the Southeast, and the South-South. In the Southwest, the Christian element there will align. And at the end of the day, we can beat this game. This has always been a theory that we've been trying to push forward. But somehow, I think your people are not getting it. So that is just my own contribution in this matter.
Thank you very much. Dr. Mwezigwe, you have the floor now.
Thank you very much, Mother. Quite interesting contributions. First of all, Joy Wendu talked about my position on the state of Nigeria. In fact, the only mistake we made was Oka. People don't normally talk about Oka, the man who saw yesterday, who saw tomorrow. Gideon Oka. What we are suffering today, he saw it earlier. And that was when he decided he attempted to create a new Nigeria, but that attempt failed. And oftentimes I've not been a fan of secession or balkanization of Nigeria for one very fact. I am a historian, I'm a student of Nigerian politics. I know, and I know what the Middle Belters are going through. I have a lot of friends in Zulu Emirates, in Plateau, and other places. I've lived in the north, and wherever I found myself, they are my next of kin because of that common index of Christianity. And if you say, let us separate today, where would they find themselves? Unless they're joining a new Nigeria. That is one. So, but practically, Nigeria is at a state of precipice. And if I could say, it is like an elephant that is dying, that is just waiting for who will take which portion. That is position in that situation. But the most important urgent need of synergy between the Igbo and the Middle Belt presently is on security matters. Put 2003 presidential election, because these are just subterfuge being employed by the Fulani through the INEC, fixing dates for election, and so on and so on. The election that they've already decided who will be the president. They've already decided the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria announcing it. What we need now is networking for security. How do we stop the banditry? How do we stop the the continuous shedding of innocent blood by Fulani bandits, herdsmen. Because under the present situation, there will be no election in 2023. So our focus of synergy should be Middle Belt, South-South, Southeast, Southwest, have a common security network and coordination. If they're attacking this way, attack that way. Because the Fulani succeeds because they know that we are divided. So they attack in isolation. So our most important thing is what? Security before we talk of 2003. Secondly, I can't say I'm disappointed with my Omusanya, my brother Omusanya contribution, trying to paint black white. And I know you'll be speaking from America or United Kingdom on Europe, where you have enough burger and hot dog to eat for his breakfast and dinner. But not in Nigeria. Yes.
No, it's in Nigeria, sir.
No. If it's in Nigeria, who will be saying this? Because of daily shootings, daily killings, insecurity everywhere. I'm in exile because of the crisis in Nigeria. And Chief Elomba, I posted a video where I am now at Aflawo, 549 Igbo people deported from Ghana. They're there, docked there. They've been waiting for Nigerian ambassador to come and rescue them for more than a month. For more than a week now. Whose leader will attend to them? They are Aflawo, Ghana. They are all Igbo. 549 Igbo youths deported from Ghana. Do we have Igbo leaders? If we have Igbo leaders, they've gone. If we have Nigerian leaders, they should have gone. We remember when Senegal deported some Nigerians. You know, during Jonathan's era, Jonathan deported, some Senegalese in retaliation and gave them money and said, tell them to tell their God, this is how you deport your fellow African. You don't deport them empty-handed. The Ghanaian government is doing it because it wants us to react. It wants Nigerians to take the bull by the horn. And I bet you, if Nigerians want to change the situation, they can do it. We have an insensitive members of the National Assembly. We have an insensitive governors, an insensitive minister, an insensitive set of members of the House of Assembly. They are sitting, they have the police protection, they have the money, they don't care. And these are the people we elected. Until we hold them accountable, we have the long throat of mega church ministers, archdeacons, bishops, archbishops, collecting tithes, offerings every Sunday, praying for us, for the help we are yet to see. Whereas here, we are meeting here. By the time we want this Nigeria to change tomorrow, they will mobilize, come out of the street, say enough of this insult, enough of this insecurity, enough of this killing. Otherwise, we continue to be killed as chicken. That is the only thing that if you want Nigeria to be one. Otherwise, if Nigeria breaks up today, it is very difficult to put it together because the amount of sophisticated arms and ammunition in private arms is so alarming that even the military at one point will become part of the bandits themselves.
Thank you very much, sir. I think at this point, we will end the first segment of this program before moving into the second segment. Thank you very much, Dr. Nwankwo-Nwezigwe, for being with us for the past 2 hours now. It's been very enlightening on this very hot subject in Nigerian politics. And I thank all of you. I will not, because there are so many speakers, I wouldn't mention you about one by one, for making our time for being with us tonight. And at this point, I say, have a good evening. All right, I have stopped recording now, but we are still streaming online for your information. It's still on YouTube and on at least 9 different platforms on Facebook. I just checked Facebook now, there have been so many comments, some for and some are against. So at this point, our guest, you are free to leave, but if you choose to stay, we'll be happy to have you. And any other person who wishes to stay can stay, but if you wish to leave, we thank you at this point. So there are so many hands up. We are still online, please, on social media for your information. Mazi Okoye, I can see Okoye, Ezeluchi, and Onwasa, but let's start with Mazi Okoye, please. You can unmute yourself.
I just wanted to ask Dr. Ezeokonkwo a question, a pertinent question. What does he think about the NINAs and their approach towards solving Nigeria's problem? He knows that NINAs is approaching solving Nigeria's problem by collapsing.
You mean NINAS, NINAS, yeah?
Yes, NINAS, yes.
Okay.
Yes, he knows that NINAS is approaching solving this problem by collapsing the constitution, because the constitution of Nigeria, they said, and according to so many scholars, are the root cause of the problem of Nigeria. What does Dr. Ezeokonkwo,
where's he?
Make of it? Yes, please.
Oh, the Most High God. Yes. First of all, I am a supporter of NINA, but I see their approach as that of academic, theoretical. As a revolutionary, you need strong networking to the ground. And most of the things, most of the things they say, they don't need to say it openly. So their objective, very laudable, collapsing the government will not do it. Because it is like asking a king to disintegrate his own kingdom. The government cannot be just by pronouncements. So there must be proactive action. There must be positive action from all angles, as I've said, to give effect to that, to the ideas. And that is what I'm saying. If Nigeria wants a change today, they can do it. By coming out, let them kill all of us. Let them kill every person. Otherwise, they'll be killing everyone piecemeal by piecemeal. You don't know who will die tomorrow.
All right. Okay, thank you. Is FCC Jones still here? I think he's left. Mr. Eluche, please. You can unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I want to address a couple of issues. One is the issue of what we're discussing in Nigeria. The rest of the world is moving for people and mass, going to outer space. I mean, a lot of scientific innovations. But here because of the structure of Nigeria, we are still talking of Islam, Muslim, tribe, religion, creed. We are actually moving backwards. So you realize that the structure of the country made it unworkable. And that's almost when I listen to Owan Sonya FCC talking about trying to make the country that stuff, I have to realize one fundamental fact. From its very inception, right from Nigeria was a commercial enterprise for the purpose of exploiting the country and the people for Western interest. Are we going to stick to that? Just what it is. Look at that. Have we made progress as a people? Has any Nigeria made progress? That is a definite no. Rather, you have people using tribe, religion, you went to office. But as a people, as a country, as a nation, Nigeria has been retrogressing from day one and will continue to retrogress. It's set up to exploit. Sure, the structure country. Ethnicity. We are being tribalist. It's a wrong nomenclature. If you are speaking Yoruba race, the Yoruba race has over 450. That's more than the most European countries. Czechoslovakia, Slovenia, Poland, Spain, they are less than 20 million. So why do we say that anyone is speaking for the Igbo race? He's been an atheist. He's not been a bias. He's been a nationalist. Whereas when he speaks for he's been a nationalist. And it's now to be a nationalist, to be a patriot. But the problem I have is that in Nigeria, we have so much forced together, have different objectives, different goals. I would like each and every one of us now try and Google innovation. Nigeria not a nation. And as long as we have this forced relation, there's a settlement called Nigeria, which is built for expansion, we're not going back. Yes. Oh, I mean, I'm about concluding. The leaders of Nigeria.
The problem is that you are, the network you are using is not giving us your full clear. Yeah, it's not even though we are using our sense to capture what you are saying, but it's not really that clear.
No problem. I have to withdraw.
But we get what you are saying, that the structure of Nigeria is not allowing Nigeria to develop, and therefore that what Nigeria should do is simply to restructure, so that while the rest of the world is going is going into cyber technology and 22nd century 5G network, 6G network, we are still talking about Islam and Christianity. All right. Well, okay. Yes. Before we go to before we go back to Dr. Mwezigwe, we would like Mazioko to respond to what you say about Ninas, and then if you want to respond to what Ezeluche also said. Mazioko, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm still here.
Yes. Do you want to respond to what he said about Ninas lacking the structure to bring their ideas into fruition?
Hang on, let me turn my camera on. I think you got to start from somewhere to just say, okay, that they lack the structure or they lack this and that. That is just theoretical. To me, it's a bit short-sighted on the part of Dr. Mwezigwe. You go from theory to practice. You don't go from practice to theory. Him being an academic should know this. So I think from my perspective, the Ninas approach is a very, very good approach, a very cogent approach in terms of having a theory and then working towards practicalizing that theory, instead of say, okay, let everybody sort of come out in the street so that they will start killing people, and then eventually everything will collapse into chaos before we then start reorganizing ourselves. So I think the way Ninas are approaching it is, I think, it's far much better than any other formula that I've seen out there, because they are taking things stage by stage instead of let everything collapse before they then start to reorganize. So I didn't really buy into what Dr. Mwezigwe said with regards to where Ninas are going.
All right, I thank you. The gentleman with iPhone, if you tell me your name, I will rename your device and then ask you to make a contribution. You are raising up your hand. I've asked you to unmute. Yes, please. What's your name, sir?
My name is Kenneth Odidika.
Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Good. Now, just like the last speaker said, the approach of Ninas might sound academic, but it's actually the most practical way of resolving the issues without bloodshed. Remember, in December, they declared a constitutional force majeure, gave 90 days, that expired in March. March, they gave the governors 30 days, come and talk with them. And they're not just talking, they've laid out how these processes and procedures can be taken to arrive at the desired end. It's all well and good to expect an immediate disintegration. That will be violent, that will be bloody. But we have people understand that the constitution that was foisted on Nigeria is deceptive, is actually a fraud. I've given interviews on that. And that is what, and it's not just saying it, sections have been pointed out. It is the basis of what the problem is. It goes on to legitimize the obnoxious acts of the leadership of the country. It is important, it's pertinent, critically important, that constitution is kept where it's supposed to be, which is the dustbin, and let Nigerians have their own constitution. And to achieve that, these nationalities must go back. Are you hearing me? Sorry.
Yes, we're hearing you. Go ahead.
We're hearing you.
These nationalities must go back. I'm a lawyer, by the way. I'm sure, I'm sure your colleagues, are supposed to know me. However, now go back to have their own meetings, determine, look, how do we want to be Nigeria or any entity with any other person? Then they come back. For instance, I'm Igbo. And you say, look, yes, we Igbo, we want to still have a country with other people. Call it Nigeria, call it any name. But these are our conditions. The German comes with his own. Everybody comes with their own. Then, where we have agreements on fundamental issues, now we'll go ahead to now have a country. What we have now has had several names, both by Awolowo, geographical expression, and so on and so forth. It just is not working. There is total breakdown of trust. There cannot be any relationship where trust is completely broken down. And I'm putting it mildly. I just talk about trust. So Nina's approach is still currently the best approach if we don't want to shed blood and get to the desired end. I'll stop so far while I hear other.
I thank you very much. In fact, I'm in touch with, I've interviewed Tony Nadi on this platform before. I've also interviewed Clifford Irewu on this platform. In fact, I spoke with him last week, and we'll be planning another conference to appear on Elomba television to further speak on Ninas. But let me ask you this question before we go to Maazezi. One question I've asked both Tony and Clifford the last time they were here is, if you have the members of Ninas together, you have had your conference and you agree that this is what you want to do, and then you come to the point where the government of Nigeria simply refuses to listen to you, the governor doesn't want to talk to you, the police and the army, the structures are still there, and tells you and waves you away, say, go and sit down, we won't do what you're asking us to do. Then what next?
At times people can on their own bring the anti-infested firewood to their house and the lizards will come to feast. What NENAS is doing is covered by United Nations resolution. They are doing something very legitimate and legal. They're not killing anybody. That's why they're taking the steps the way they're taking it. They are covered legally. It's quite legitimate. In the event that, for instance, I would say, look, that constitution is not my own. I don't agree with it. And I say, and let us be realistic. That's why I say, when you use your hand to go and fetch the anti-infested firewood, this is your military you're talking about. This is your police you're talking about, and so on and so forth. Are not made up only of Fulanis. They are made up of Igbos, Yorubas, Kanuris, name them, they're all there. A situation where you tell me to turn my gun against my people, when I know that what they're saying benefits me ultimately, because I want to know, decide how I'm governed. That is where you now experience mutiny. And the hierarchy of the military will not find that funny. So it is even in their interest. Yes, I know they don't want to lose their power, their whatever, but if they claim, if there's any iota of truth in their claim to be patriotic, this is the opportunity for them to now go and show that patriotic element in them by letting this process go. Why must you force me to be your wife or to be your husband or to be your anything? Let us discuss. If we are still going to marry or date, good. We say and do that. You can't, formally it was always, this country is indissoluble. It's a no-go area. It is not true anymore. We've gone beyond that. We're already questioning the dissolubility of this country. We want to do it in such a manner that we can come back to and say, we still want to be Nigeria, but on these terms. On these terms. You don't impose your terms on us.
Okay, thank you. I think Efani, are you still here with us? Efani A, we want to hear your thoughts on the issue we are now discussing, Nina's approach. I know you have a different approach for your group. Are you able to talk to us, Efani? Do you want to unmute yourself?
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening, everybody, and good day, or maybe, I don't know, those that are having afternoon now or morning. Yeah, it's interesting discussion. With regards to, I don't know where to start, whether to discuss or talk about the Ninas or in general, because we are taking a different approach towards the whole thing. But with regards
What's your
to,
own, okay, I think for the benefit of your listeners, what is your own approach? And then, yeah.
Well, our approach is very simple, that you don't live in a violent and one-sided marriage. It doesn't work. It doesn't make, I mean, there's no marriage to start with. Everything was forced. It's at gunpoint. We're all living at gunpoint. So we need to be realistic and take the bull by the horn and say it as it is before we die off. It's not working. One side want to finish everybody because they believe that the whole area has been allocated to them by their forefathers as their estates or something like that. And that is a mentality that you cannot remove away from their head. It's being played out daily. And they are telling you that you have to give away your land or you die. So there's no point going around the circle and trying to kind of postpone the calamity. I mean, it's better we deal with it now so our children don't continue with that. Many of us, we grew up, we don't even know what freedom is until when we came out, left that place. So all the people that are being born there now, generation that are living there now, many of them don't understand what freedom is all about. They think they are free, but they're not free. I mean, likewise, us that are outside, we are not free because we are not in our land. So what we are trying to do is to change that falsehood that we have a country when we don't have nothing. We don't, if anything happened to any of us now, there's nobody to call. You don't have a country. You're your own. In fact, your country will send even the thing they will use to destroy you if you're not dead yet.
Okay, so what is your approach? Yeah.
Is that? That's what I'm saying. The approach is to your tent, oh Israel. There's no way you can sit today and see Israeli trying to compare themselves with Palestinians because they are living in the same area. No, they have their own life to live. Our Israelis want to move on and they want to advance. Palestinians want to be running around with their Islam and they're doing all those jihadi stuff. They get so much, but they don't want to develop it. Just like you have India and Pakistan. Now you know what is the difference is if they have been living together, the Pakistani will be doing their terrorism and their jihadism. Now you see the difference. Indians are moving forward with technology and going higher. The other ones are busy there with Afghanistan. They are doing all this, jihadi, this and that. So let us face the reality so our children don't go through this mess we are going through. We cannot postpone this forever. The earlier, the better. We want peacefully to get everybody to go to their own space. If you have a country or your own now, we have our people living everywhere in Africa. You can still live there, anywhere you are. Those people that want to live in the north, they can stay there without anybody harassing them now. They can live there, follow their rules. If they need to have a resident permit to live there, so be it. So that when there's any problem, the government of Biafra will go and ask what is happening to our citizens. Now you cannot do it because the same people you ask are the same people killing you. So this is something that we don't need to be blowing too much grammar, like people that doesn't really know what is reality. Reality is staring at our face. Even British has already given up, whether we like it or not, they have given up. But because of their contract with the Fulani Caliphate, they are still pretending. They didn't want to come out open and say, I don't want to continue with this mess because they created the mess. So what we need to be discussing here is not whether is this happening, is this, is that, Fulanization. Even Obasanjo, the one Nigerian man, has already come out and said that this Fulanization agenda. What's his name? What's his name? Danjuma.
Danjuma.
Danjuma has come. I mean, what are we talking? He told you that if you're waiting for this army to save you, you will die one after the other. And that is what they're doing, chunk by chunk. That is what Fulani is good at. They attack you in the night. They can't confront her because they're cowards. That's the reality. They have all the money, just like they have in the Central Republic of Congo. They have all the positions there. They have all the money. But those ones are wiser than us. Sorry to say that, because they rose up fast to checkmate these guys. But now we are here sitting, debating every day. Is it true? Is it a lie? Fulanization? Islamic? Fulanis are manipulators and deceivers. They will send their students, their whatever they send out. I think some of them are maybe here. And they will be coming around, putting that division, sowing the seed of distraction, division. So you people will be distracted. You stay here discussing this. Next one you hear now that the other village is already wiped off. Before you know it, chunk by chunk, we all be victims. So what the Biafra government, we have a Biafra provisional government anyway that we're building up, to take the control of the situation down there, while we have also Biafra government in exile. And we are doing all we can now to get our people aware of what is happening, to wake up, because there's no two ways about it, whether we like it or not. You can never live in a violent relationship. It doesn't work. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other contribution?
I think, am I on? Mr. Lomba.
Okay. Yeah, I thought maybe the hand you raised was the previous one. Go ahead.
No, this is I appreciate what the last speaker said, because, people has these different ideas in their mind that, okay, how to solve this problem. But when they start actually laying out the process of solving that problem, they don't give much detail. Like the guy you just, Miss Comrade Ifai, just said that his approach is just simple. To your tent, oh Israel. What does that mean? What kind of process is that? So everybody all Igbos in the north should run down to the southeast, and all the northerners in the southeast should run to the north. And so everybody should be running scatter everywhere. If that's how he meant to solve the problem, then that is not, I don't think that any intelligent person will want Nigerian problem to be solved that way. What is to your intent, oh Israel? We're talking about, Ninas is talking about a process whereby all this chaos can be avoided. Because believe me, Ninas are not afraid of violence. Nobody is having monopoly on violence. Ninas are not afraid of violence. However, you try as an intelligent person as much as possible to avoid it. You try to avoid it. Not that if anything goes wrong in Nigeria today, everybody in Ninas are the ones that's going to suffer most. No, we're just more deliberate, more diligent with regards to people's lives there, because at the end of the day, it's the people that are already suffering that will suffer some more when all this violence people are propagating comes down. It's not the people that are actually looking for the solutions. So I think we must, as much as we can, follow a process. Think about a process that will bring about less carnage and less bloodshed. Not that anyone is afraid to go and die, but if you have to die, at least you die knowing that there is something that comes after you that actually replaces, there's a plan that goes to show that your death meant something, not just dying for the sake of dying. And at the end of the day, everything will revolve back to the same elite. Because believe me, the way people are following, some groups are going about this Nigeria's problem is that, okay, when everything collapses, then they themselves will then instill themselves in positions of power and then being able to make Nigeria a paradise. It doesn't work that way. You have to have a process. You have to have a process because these people that you're fighting already has resources. Even when you break Nigeria down in chaos, they will find themselves, they will find a way using their money to reoccupy those places that you think you have occupied. They will find a way to get to that positions again. if you don't have a process, that is what Ninas is actually aiming at, a process whereby all this entanglement is removed. But when it boils down to, okay, like someone said that the government is not going to do anything, they will just ignore Ninas. Eventually, it's going to boil down to that. If they don't act, it's going to boil down. Then the people, don't forget that the Ninas are the people, because sometimes we think, okay, an organization is something, or politics is something very external to us, that we can only solve it by, okay, violence. Politics is not like that. Politics is life. Politics is everything. Some people think that politics is just, okay, economics or whatever they might think, or politics that is, politics is actually in your house, in your homes. It sleeps with you, it lives with you. You drink politics, you eat politics, because the food you eat is produced by politics. So people must start thinking about politics in the sense that everything is politics.
All right, thank you. Let's find a response to you, and then we'll start winding up. I think he's raising up his hand now. It appears he wants to respond to a point you raised. Can you?
Okay, yeah, sorry. I think I made a point earlier when I said that the idea, you know, sometimes we use so much fear factor to kind of mesh the whole argument about this. We can't live. Every Igbo man is so strange that some of us that are Igbos, that knows our way of life. That at let's say anytime a boy of come of age, they will show you your own land and say, this is your own inheritance, this is your own land, go and be independent and build your own family. I mean, I don't understand where we are coming with this idea, what kind of hypnosis we are living in, with that we must live with Fulani to survive. I mean, if you are living in any part of Africa, you have the right to live there. So what is the problem that now we want to now have our own homeland, where we can have our own system that will govern us based on our own way of life, so that we can manage our people anywhere they are? What is the problem with that we have to be thinking that, oh, if we now want to go, everybody will have to go? You don't have to leave the north if you don't want to live there. People who want to live there can live there, just like they're living in Ghana, Togo, and everywhere else. Let us not be bringing all this confusion and making people to be scared that having your own homeland, there's something wrong with it. We have what it takes. We have the population. We are more than, if we talk about only Igbos, we are more than 50 million scattered all over the world. If we talk about Biafra, we're more than 70 million. You come around this area, if you read about all this history of the country that are surviving, like for instance, Scandinavia, where I stay, look around, when they start developing, is when they cut each other. Okay, now Sweden, be on your own. Denmark, okay, be on your own. We have had this bloodshed enough. Norway, be on your own. That is when you start seeing development. Go to the chart today, whenever you see how the list of...
We are talking about the process of achieving that.
Listen, we have to... One minute. We have to reshape our mindset that we want to be free first. You can't have a process...
We're talking about the process.
When you don't agree that... Wait, when you don't agree that we need to be free, then you can't think of the process of being free. You have to think first.
The process has to be defined. The man has not defined the process.
Sorry?
You have not defined the process.
You have not defined the process. You've been talking about process. Process has to, which process?
I don't understand what process is talking about. When you, first of all, you make up your mind you want to be free first, then you think about how to be free.
Yes.
But we are not even want to be free.
No, we've already made up our mind.
No, you're not. You're not. You still talking about, no. You're still scared that
hold on, Ninas is pursuing the same thing as you are pursuing.
Yes.
However, the disagreement is the way to achieve it.
Exactly. The point is that
we were preaching for the collapse of Nigeria.
Yes.
We wanted to have Nigeria. But the process you're talking about, okay, to your tent, oh Israel. Yeah. We're not talking about to your tent, oh Israel. We're trying to bring a process whereby everything can be entangled in an orderly manner.
I understand about Nina's program. I understand that, but I'm trying to tell you that there are so many ways to kill a rat, and you cannot.
Okay, what is your own way to kill it?
Please, can I come in? Yeah, please. Can I come in? Please.
Okay, yeah, come in. Yeah, go ahead.
First of all, my dear friend talked about process. As he said, listen, as a historian, I went through revolutions, French Revolution, American Revolution, Cuban Revolution. They have processes and have actions. They began at one point, and they have, and again, you don't start by telling a child, fear blood, fear blood, fear blood. Then the child will not achieve anything in life. The Bible is very, very explicit on that. Without the shedding of blood, there can be no salvation. It has nothing to do with the shedding of blood of Jesus Christ alone. It is continuity. Shedding of blood is continuity because even the men who brought Christianity to us died in their thousands, in their millions, to impact Christianity on us. So it's all about shedding of blood. And if you're talking of you don't want to shed blood, whereas the people are being killed at every moment. They are being kidnapped and killed. The Fulani are rampaging our people, massacring our people. And you're still talking about no shedding of blood. For Christ's sake. If you're talking of, I've said it, Nina.
Doctor.
No, let me conclude. Nina, listen, we're talking of a sitting government with a framework of administration. I think you can just come and collapse them. Ndi Igbo say, Adamu Miluda. That is, you know what order is? A bitter substance used to make a sauce. It's very bitter. You don't drink it just under normal circumstances. So you can't tell this government to collapse. You are giving false material. How do they collapse? There must be, you are talking about process. I've been trying to look at one process. The process we are adopting now is theoretical process. We need a practical process. That practical process is take action, positive action against the government. You are talking of army. The command and control in army system cannot allow your brother to go into treasonable felony process. If you want a change in government, it has to come from external force. People like you coming out to mobilize and say, look, this government should go. We need an interim. It is only an interim government in Nigeria that can effect that Nina's project, not this government. And for an interim government to come in, there must be a process in which this government has to be forced out without a coup. If you are talking of coup bringing army, then it's another scenario entirely, and may not end up to what Ninas want to achieve. That's what we're talking. Well, and you can't say blood. Listen, it's very, very clear. I want to say it. Those who make peaceful change impossible, make violent change what? Inevitable. So, and they're also bringing the violence. Please, you don't discourage people by saying we don't want the change of blood. Whereas your people's blood are being shed every time or something. That's what I want you to know about it. So, Nina cannot make any headway without not force. Listen, let me tell you, the United Nations has no right to separate any country. They have no right to balkanize any country. They don't have the mandate to say referendum. You must create the enabling environment for United Nations to come in. And what is that enabling environment? Positive action. Maybe a state of violence that cannot bring them to come in to say, oh, we cannot come. But as long as a constitutional authority is still dominating you and you are just talking, they will take it that you are not here serious. And they will not come in. So don't bring United Nations, don't talk about legality of minerals, about United Nations has no direct process. The only process United Nations has is the process of what is on ground. What is on ground? There is violence, there is separatism, there are crises. Let us intervene. After intervention, how do you solve it? That is the situation. So, as I said earlier, at this point, Ninas is on theoretical level, and that the approach is theoretical. You cannot remove this government by mere declaration. You cannot tell the members of the National Assembly and the executive.
Doctor, can I comment? Doctor, can I comment?
For them to remove their power, to divest themselves of their powers and authority.
Can I comment now? You're talking about this particular government, but that is not what Ninas is all about. I thought you said you're a member of Ninas, but to me, it's like you're quite very distant from.
I am not a member. I'm a sympathizer.
You're a sympathizer. Okay, you're a sympathizer. But Ninas is not talking about.
Yeah, a supporter may not likely be a member.
Okay, Ninas is not talking about this government. Ninas is not talking about any other government. Ninas is talking about the people. The people. And how do you go about getting the people? You organize. You start by organizing. Don't shake your head. Don't shake your head, because Nigerians' problem is not a problem which can be solved by any one ethnic group. Do you agree with me? It will never be solved by any one ethnic group. Biafrans cannot solve it. Oduduwas cannot solve it. The Middle Belters or the Ariwas cannot solve it. So it demands multi-ethnic approach. And that is what Ninas is doing. They try to bring all these ethnic groups together in order to be able to form an action plan, which they have done. They have done that, which I believe is actually the most difficult work to do, trying to bring everybody together. As I said before, nobody is afraid of violence. I don't think Ninas has come out to say that they are afraid of blood. Nobody is afraid of that. Nobody is afraid of that, because we know how Nigerians suffers. But what Ninas is saying is to bring an orderly first, to try the orderly process of disintegration of Nigeria, which is the constitution. The only thing that is holding Nigeria together as it is today is that paper, the constitution, and nothing else. Without that paper, the constitution, there is no Nigeria. I'm sure you know that. It's not Buhari that is holding Nigeria together, or any elite, or any individual. It's the constitution. That is the basis, the base of that union. So what Ninas is doing is bringing about the solution of that foundation. If you dissolve that foundation, you can then reconstitute and build and have a referendum whereby people can agree whether they wanted to be in the same country called Nigeria or go their separate ways. Ninas is not saying that they are afraid of violence, are afraid of blood. This is saying that there must be an orderly process of that disintegration of Nigeria.
Thank you, my brothers. Thank you very much. Efanya, are you raising your hand again? I think we have had the positions enough. So
yeah, 1 minute, just a quick one. A quick one, because I think we are kind of missing the point here. My brother that is talking about Nina's position, we all, many of us here know about their position. And like our brother, Dr. just clearly, put it there, that you cannot achieve anything with just grammar. That is the reality of the thing here. Now, we have been talking about this constitution force majeure. You did it in September, was it 16th of December last year. And then you gave 90 days. And after 90 days, what has happened? Nothing. You have to be practical with things you're talking. Before you are dealing with
action is coming, though. Action is
coming. When will it come?
You are dealing with months.
Wait, it's a process.
Already
will come. It will.
Wait, 1 minute. 1 minute, my brother. One thing you have to understand, that you're dealing with wild. This is even more than wild monsters. You can't even imagine. They're not reasoning like me and you.
But there is a question someone asked in the forum. If you disagree with Nina's approach, are you advocating levying war against Nigeria?
We're already at war. Let us not be naive. We already
there is no formal war.
We have one-sided war. It's only one-sided. Fulani has declared war on everybody, and that's been one-sided. So don't talk about whether we are going to war.
There is no formal declaration of war. There is no formal declaration of war.
You are overseas. You see, I get bored of when I see people in overseas again eating chicken and burger. People who are even struggling to eat apple and soup without meat, eating without, as we call it.
So you want to kill them because they are eating apple?
No, people are dead.
Mr. Ngerem, I had hoped to hear your voice tonight. I don't know. Are you still there?
You want to kill them because they eat chicken.
Listen, Nigerian Civil War, Mr. Elomba, Nigerian Civil War was fought only for two and a half years. Now, Boko Haram has dragged us 11 years, no solution. Boko Haram.
Why?
And now we are seeing Boko Haram, and you are telling me Nigeria is not in a state of war. And we are seeing Boko Haram. We are seeing Boko Haram now graduating from guerrilla warfare to conventional warfare with armored cars. And we are seeing bandits. We are now seeing kidnapping being legalized. We are not talking about unknown gunmen in the east. You are telling Nigeria is not in a state of war, and you are talking of legality, constitutional legality. You listen. This present government has not been operating, has not been even sincere to the constitution itself. Even though.
I think, Dr. Mwezi, in my opinion, I think when the person who asked the question mean, are you going to levy war against Nigeria? Is violence an option that you are advocating? Because when you talk of Boko Haram now, yes. Boko Haram made their decision. They don't accept the 1999 constitution. They don't accept the legality of Nigerian government. You know, when you say Boko Haram, it is not just Boko as in book, but Boko as in government and anything that comes with it. So they reject it and they are willing to use violence to bring it down. Yeah. And Anina say, let us use a different legal approach first. If you say you will not accept that, are you advocating the use of violence to bring down the Nigerian constitution? That is what the person is asking.
I am not advocating the use of, but
the violence is not using.
Listen, no, let me talk. I'm on floor. I am not advocating, but the violence itself has advanced itself. The ongoing violence in Nigeria has said, look, it is only violence can solve this. I'm not the person who advocates. It is violence itself that said, look, it is only through me that this problem can be solved.
All right, thank you. Okay, quickly, Okoye, please. Let's round up.
You are advocating for violence.
Violence, no, I'm not. It is violence that advocated itself. Because it is violence that advocated itself.
No, violence.
Dr. Wangwa, let's hear him now. Let's hear.
Hold on. You're personifying violence as if he's a person. Listen, violence is not a person. It's you. It's people like you. It's people like you that advocate it.
Listen,
to me,
yes,
it's disheartening.
Now, let me be sincere to you. Yes, for now, advocate violence because if you send people to kill my people right in the south, and you are giving them order to give you land to rear their cattle, you are inviting, and I have to defend myself. Let me be clear to you. I'm not missing words. Yes, if you bring violence, you receive violence. Tit for tat. So what are you talking about? You want me to be preaching peace? You came with automatic rifle, you are killing me. You want me to preach in peace? Please, I want you to talk like you.
I'm not here to.
Yeah,
Have I preached peace tonight?
Igbo man who's been oppressed.
I've not preached peace.
Igbo man who suffered the pogrom, who suffered the civil war, who continued to be killed in the north because of his religion and his ethnicity. I am talking about violence. I'm surprised. Some of you outside Nigeria, you have a different orientation on the realities of Nigeria, on realities of Igbo land, and that is our major problem. Instead for you to be Israeli, to act as an Israeli, bring your resources, support those fighting for your homeland. You are there telling them, don't do violence, don't do. Where you are protected, you are just like a typical Arab, Ulam, whatever, where the Somalia woman in the United House of.
Mr. Lomba, I thought that it's my turn to speak.
Whose country?
Okay, yes. Dr. Wangwa, Dr. Wezi, allow someone else to talk. Let's round up, please. It's okay.
The doctor, I appreciate him coming out to state his view clearly. I appreciate him for doing that. However, what I said, what I keep saying and being consistent on is that because violence is an option, doesn't mean that you should first run to violence. Because at the end of the day, at the end of that violence, you need to come back to talk. You have to be able to solve your problem. Yeah, tell me where violence anywhere in the world has solved the problem. You give me an example of Israel. Hold on. You give an example.
Yes.
You give an example of Israel. Hold on.
Tell us, my brother, can you tell us?
You give an example of Israel. Hold on. You give an example of Israel. I have been to Israel. Israel is an apartheid state. There's no peace in Israel today.
Please,
if you go to Jerusalem, which I've been to, Jerusalem is like a war zone. You have within a short space where
that's
the
what
Arabs are
is bringing
on
to
this
me and
stretch
you.
of road, and the Israelis are living on this road.
They were not protecting you because of people. They were protecting you because of
that want to wipe you off. So you want them to live like just allow them to be wiped off. You see, the point is that
okay, I think Raymond Unebu doesn't talk when another person is talking. Can we allow him to give me something?
The doctor just talking over me.
Talking about
over me.
It's okay. Let's not allow passion to fly. You know this. Please, this is a very passionate subject. Let's not allow passion to.
I don't know why.
The thing is, my brother.
Let's not allow passion. Unebu, please come in now. You don't. Okay.
Thank you, my brothers and sisters in this panel. Enwekwara ihe ndị Igbo na-ekwu na onye ụlọ ya na-agba ọkụ anaghị achụ oke. Because I am here as Nigeria, but when we see opinions of people here, even among Igbos, we see that we are not really Nigeria.
We are not all Nigeria.
We are not speaking with one mind. We are not even talking how are we going to be out of the mess we are inside. Can I finish what I'm saying?
Go ahead.
Sometimes when I listen to some of the ideas, my stomach starts to turn. When somebody brings war to your house, what do you do?
Imagine.
I've said this all over and all over. The Igbos, the Southerners have never carried war to anybody. Exactly. Somebody come to your house and tell you, give me your land or I kill you.
Can you imagine?
And he's killing you. You are pretending as if you don't know, you don't know what is happening.
Imagine.
I keep on saying that we have to talk what is on the ground now. What happening in the war, not killing.
Imagine.
Is there anything that they call war? It's not when people are killing each other.
Destruction.
Are they not killing in eastern Nigeria? Are Igbo people not being killed every day and are being killed now? So what are we talking about?
So is the Yorubas. The Yorubas are being killed as well. The houses are being killed.
You live your own problem and talk of other people's problem.
We are talking about how to solve.
We are talking what is happening to our mothers and our fathers in the village.
You cannot isolate the problem and solve it like that.
Why no?
Isolate it like that and solve it.
Can I wait you
their own problem their own way?
You cannot isolate it. You cannot isolate it like that.
Yes, but we have to.
You have to start with your own. You have to start with your home.
I'm starting with my own.
You are not starting.
No. I am.
Now you're talking about my brother. You talk about the leaners. Now we understand we are trying to collaborate with others, which is now because they have always seen this thing as Igbo problem or Biafra problem. But thank God that God has really made it in his own way that the Fulani madness has gone into their head. They start killing others. If not, they will still be pumping. Even as we are saying, we are talking now, the same media that are being that are helping these people to advance are still not coming out to tell the people what is happening, for them to prepare themselves and protect themselves. And we are sitting here thinking that it's all these things are just joke. All these things are just.
If I'm going to go for the I've been in Nigeria, I'm going to Fulani in this program from all parts of Nigeria. The Fulani are also lamenting that the media are not reporting the killing of their own people. So when you come here and say that the media is helping the Fulani to advance by not telling the people the truth, the other party are also saying that the media are only reporting when Fulani is killed, but they suppress. No, it's not manipulative because I have. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. In Niger State, only last week at the governor of Niger State, Potala, for the first time, and complain to the world that Niger State is under occupation.
By who?
But even before now, 2 years before now, the House of Rep member have already said that bandits have cornered his own constituency.
Who are the bandits? On the Igbo.
When you talk about the problem of Nigeria, Nigeria is made up of more than 250 ethnic groups. And even if you come to Niger State, for instance, there are more than 50 or 60 ethnic groups in Niger State. And so in Niger State, the people who are being killed, from the information available, are more of the Fulanese.
No, sir.
No, please.
No,
All these
sir.
people should stop distorting facts.
False information. False information.
Okay, who is killing them? Who is killing them?
Who is killing them? Is it the Nupe or the
Is it the Igbo people? Are Igbo people killing them? Is it the Igbo people killing them?
Okay, one question I'll ask you. One question on my job. When I say something, if you come to other parts of Middle Belt as well,
yes,
the Fulanis are also being killed. Because the problem of Nigeria, I was speaking with someone.
In retaliation, please.
Which part of Middle Belt?
Let me say something. Yeah? The Nigerian problem, when we talk about this jihadist group in West Africa and East Africa, the Nigerian problem is very confounding because jihadism mixes with politics, mixes with herdsmen, farmers' crisis, mixes with banditry and Zamfara, people who are stealing their gold and running away, mixes with a lot of things. So Nigerians are not able to say this one is this one. Okay, in the next 1 week, I will have one scholar, an Igbo, who has Ford Foundation funding to investigate the Boko Haram crisis. And I've read some of his reports. I'll bring him here. And when he comes, one of the things he will try to highlight is the distinct acts of violence in different parts of Nigeria that are, most of them have no relation to each other, but Nigerians come and lump all of them together. And when you lump it, sorry?
They compound it.
They compound it. When you lump all of them together, you compound it. Are you telling me now that the people who kidnapped 300 people in Katsina State, right in President Buhari's backyard, are they Fulanis? The people who speak are they Fulanis? No, they are not. Let me finish. Kucha, you come in. So the people who killed, no. Okay, the people, okay, Magwana, do you know how this Fulani herdsmen kidnapping started? I had one Fulani in my program. He told me, look, there are some Fulanis who are cattle rearers. The cattle is their life. They are not farmers. They don't know any other thing. When cattle rustling started in 2015, Buhari gave an order that cattle rustlers should be shot at sight. Cattle rustling became a very big problem in Katsina and Kaduna State. So when their cattle is no longer available, they turn to criminality. So they haven't turned to criminality, kidnapping, stealing, because they don't have any other means of livelihood. If you go to Zamfara, are you telling me that the bandits killing Kebbi State and Zamfara State, are they Fulanis? No, they're not. So Nigerian problem is so wide that we compound all of them together and we're solving it.
I wrote something on the comment section.
Can I say something, please? Chief Elomba, you generalize a lot. Last time I released a write-up titled the Sacred Cow and Jonathan. Cow. And in 2013, I was in a channels arising, sunrise, 2013, telling them about the influx of Fulani from Mali and Senegal. If you log my name in YouTube, channels sunrise, you see 2013. I stated what is happening here. So if you're talking me, these people were invited for the purpose of election. For election, 2015 election. And they thought that Jonathan will resist the election. And when Jonathan failed to resist the election, his defeat, there was no way to manage them. They first dragged them to where? To gold mining sites, gold mining in Zamfara State. They later employed them. And after employing them for some time, the government decided to divest them of those rights. They were already armed. So it's not a question of cattle rustlers being armed with AK-47. They were already armed. And they were Fulani fighters from Burkina Faso and Mali. I said it. Go to YouTube, Sunrise, 2013, April. I said it. And I've also written on Good Lord Jonathan and the cattle and how they buried cattle during the election. I've already written it, which is everywhere. It's on the internet. So telling me about Zamfara situation, you are generalizing because it's not a question of Ford Foundation. I am working with my own traditional foundation, not Ford Foundation. And I'm not telling you that, yes, there in Zamfara, these people with AK-47 who even posed with the governor of what is it called? Governor of
where you accuse me of general, let's not lump a lot of things together. One question you don't lump everything that you also generalize Katsina, Zamfara, and everything. One question I'll ask. Okay, one question I ask about when you say imported foreigners. When you say that you imported mercenaries for the 2015 election,
they said
wait now.
I was specific Fulani people.
Okay, when you say you imported Fulani people,
yes,
for the 2015 election, and you armed them, there is one question I ask when I hear this story.
Yes.
If you give someone one gun,
yes,
and you give him 100 bullets,
yes,
that 100 bullets, will it last forever?
It will not last
will it
forever.
Eventually finish? It
No.
will not last forever. It will finish. So
finish.
when that bullet finishes, if you, Dr. Moiziwe, is the source of that bullet,
yes,
and you have told him you cut communication with him, when that bullet finishes, will he come back to you for more bullets?
They've got enough money from kidnapping now, and they also do the things they do.
It's not kidnapping.
Thank you.
Kidnapping to oil.
Thank you very much. So that Fulani man in the bush,
they are having
this Fulani is a cattle. Wait now, my question: this Fulani is a cattle rearer. No other business, he doesn't even also speak any other language. No, I'm talking of the particular people imported.
Yeah.
They are not armed merchants who know Syria. Let me ask my question, please. You said Fulani were imported into Nigeria in 2015. My question is, okay, you went into a village in Mali, right? Brought local people who doesn't speak French. They are not enlightened. Let me finish now. You brought local people. Wait now. Wait. You brought local people because nobody can. Let me give an example of when I say local people. A top Nigerian politician told me that during the EndSARS crisis, some northern elements wanted them to bring in Igbo to protest against SARS in Abuja. Or say na ndị Igbo enweghị n'ala ma jiri ihe eje na ihe ejere na nkwọ Nnewi na onye nọ na Ọnịcha maka esi ya bịa ka ije mee protest na Abuja ka o sobe gị na ndị Igbo enweghị ala ma jiri. So the only people you can bring from Mali into Nigeria to vote are unemployed variants who doesn't have any business. So they don't know anything. Let me finish now. Let me just say you reply. You can't bring a trader in Bamako. You can only bring local people who doesn't know how to manufacture guns, who doesn't know how to buy guns. You now bring him into Nigeria, give him one gun, give him 50 bullets. After that, a cut communication. How do they now develop the expertise to now form a criminal organization that is so wide to be carrying out all this kidnapping all over the country?
Okay.
How do they develop it?
Let me correct the question you created. The people imported were not village people.
Exactly.
Yes.
That is
in northern Burkina Faso, there is armed struggle now by Fulani people.
Everywhere, sir.
Yes. These are people who were imported. In Mali, the Fulani are fighting the Bambara people.
Remember before you continue, don't mix my word. Remember when I said imported mercenaries, you corrected me that it's not mercenaries. You said Fulani, so not mercenaries. So continue.
You said local people, and I'm telling you, these people are not local people. They were already.
So they're mercenaries.
Yes, already trained and fighting. And
they're mercenaries. So they're mercenaries.
But they are Fulani.
Can I help you with that? Listen to.
Thank you.
Yes, and let me tell you how they be oiling them. When they came now, do you know how much government gives them in the name of paying ransom for kidnapped people? Do you know how much the government pays them? When they kidnap secondary school and the same government bring out money and pay them. You know how much?
El Rufai himself made the confession that when he go around different countries in Africa paying the Fulanese to stop coming, to stop, but he's paying them to enforce, to bring them in, to take over the place, and they have made it several times. The announcement.
It's not what the Rufai. It's not what the Rufai said.
El Rufai said, I can send it to you also. El Rufai
it's
said
not what he said now, and El Rufai.
he said he went to different countries. He said he went to different countries, paying the Fulanese not to stop coming to kill Nigerians. Didn't you hear that?
It's not the way. Anyway, let's not.
It doesn't matter how you say it.
With this kind of conversation, people always force you to start to defend the Fulani, but that's not actually the
exactly. They make it appear because when you now start to mix a lot of things, it will make someone appear you think it's descending Fulani. But you stick to facts.
No.
You know, they try to force you to defend the Fulani, which you're not doing.
There's nothing to defend about the Fulanis. There's nothing to defend about them. And when they say something, repeat what they say, and you're defending what they
because you misuse facts. Because you misuse facts.
These are the things that them, their mouth.
Can I come in here, please?
Just to tell you, you don't know Bamako, you don't know Northern Burkina Faso.
Even Chad, they just deposed the man that came because he fought the terrorists in Nigeria. That was why they killed the man. But
we are seeing this problem.
Okay, I think someone want to speak, Mr. Ulum, and then there are those who haven't spoken on this forum. Please, let's allow them. And then let's allow the people to contribute. Mr. Ulum, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah. Good evening. Did you say Mr. Ulum or did you say
Mr. Urum, Principal Urum?
Okay, Daniel, thank you very much. Good evening, everybody on call. And thank you, our guest speaker. I think to start with, I've enjoyed tonight and the discussion so far, though we've gone a little bit emotional as well. But let's look at who owns the cattle that are coming to the east. Who has this business? Those are the people we'll be pointing at, because those are the people that have the headsmen that are into our bush. And the people that own the business are our leaders. So someone has mentioned earlier on that crime is local. So we have connivance from our leaders. That is why when most of these herdsmen are arrested, even in the core Igbo land, they are released by the police immediately. So our people knows what is happening. Then another thing I want to touch as well is when we're talking about violence, you know, when war comes to you in your house, including taking your land from you, and you're defending your land, that is not violence, that is self-defense. I think that was the same thing also that led Ojukwu to war as well. That's just the bit I want to contribute.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Collier, please.
Yes.
Collier, sir.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. What I've heard is so interesting. But let me tell you one thing. The Fulanese, they have their agenda, they have a way of occupying the territory. The guest speaker is a historian. If you ask him how the Fulanese overtook or took over the houses, he will tell you they came there, killed the Emas, Usman Danfodio, and put their own people there. Now, if you see the way they are penetrating the East, you think 2023, the Hausas, the Fulanis, they will support an Igbo president. Some of them are already banned. Some of them are already Igbo Fulanis. And after that election, those are the people they will use to continue with this rigor. And if you look at the term of this, he said, Igbo leadership on the road to Fulani domination. Once you get an Igbo man who is a Muslim, who is stubborn, Edrison Kalu, Okorocha, name them. The Fulanis, the Hausas, they will support them come 2023 because they want to use them towards domination of Nigeria. and they will gladly do that. And if you tell me that you have to formally declare war, I don't buy that. Whether formal or informal, war is war. There is already war in Nigeria, taking our land and the rest of them, raping women, killing children. The question is, what do we do? Are we going to do it peacefully? Go to a round table and talk about it? Okay, all well and good. Are we going to defend ourselves, self-defense? All well and good. But for me, nobody can come into my house. I live in the United States of America. We have the right to bear arms. Come into my house and talk to me anyhow. I call somebody to come and repair something for me, and the person wants to be the owner of my house. No, I have my gun. That is self-defense. So let us not be rationalizing. I've listened. We are all talking. Is it from Maghreb? Is it Fulani? Is it West? Is it East? What is happening in Igbo land now? When there's an election 2023, mark it. The Muslim Igbos, Fulani Igbos, that are running to Sokoto and the rest of them, or Korocha and the rest of them, the Hausas will support them towards the domination of Nigeria, the Fulanis in particular. I'm sure the doctor that spoke here will bear me out. When they came to the north, they killed all of them and put their people there. So it is ongoing. The question is, what do we do? That is the question I'm asking. That was why I've been listening, and I kept quiet to listen, to hear what is happening. What do we do? If we say, okay, let us take it peacefully, like my young man, Mazi Okoye, suggesting, we go around table and it's okay. If you say you have gone, they cannot come to your place and take you over, well, it's all well and good. So let us be very careful whatever we are saying here. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
We thank you, sir. Then James, please.
Yes,
sir.
Okay.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we do.
Okay, good evening, sir. Thank you for this wonderful program. So personally, I'm from Edo State. So I love this your program because it's encouraging what I call unity. You see, really, indeed, our country is bleeding and we're in a very bad situation. And the only way forward, to me personally, because every man has his own opinion, the only thing that can help us is unity. Anything that doesn't promote unity is not going to help us at all. As we are pointing to Fulani as the bad guys, the evil guys in our midst, we should also check ourselves. Are we really good? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. Are we really being sincere? Are we not like that Fulani? Or are the Fulani so smart enough to be able to push the Satana to where they are today? Because this is exactly the corner we wanted to push them to. So we need to ask ourselves a question. Because the level of ethnic bigotry in the South is too much. And the division is there, and people don't want to admit it. So every day by day, it is growing. And this is the real strength of the Fulani. Because what the Fulani want to exploit is division. Because once we are divided, we cannot stand. But you understand me?
Yeah, we are listening.
Okay, because once we are divided, we cannot stand. Though the Fulani themselves, they are also victims of the bad government of Nigeria. So the way they structure the system of the government is very, very bad. And it is not going to work. And it's not working, and it's not going to work. I will tell you many things. We all that are here, we live in an advanced country. Like the other time I was making a program about social security number. We don't have identity in the country. We don't know who is in Nigeria. People can cross into our border, do whatever they like, go back. You understand me? No identity, no registration. The people are unknown to the government. That means what I said, what I mean by that word is that Nigeria government doesn't recognize our citizens. We are not connected to tax office by any number. We are not connected to the Ministry of Labor. We are not connected to Ministry of Health. The institutions, they are dead. They don't even function. So automatically, there is no way the government can run the day-to-day activities to make the country great. And if you want to get this kind of system into our country, they are going to oppose it because they are already majority in the power and they are enjoying it. They don't want their people to be civilized. So, but we in the South, we continue to claim or pretend to be an agent. We need to change our attitude because there's no way we can separate because we have missed enough that if you are drawing a line or drawing a map without proper consultation with the people, you got to offend more people. It's not only one particular tribe that have been marginalized in the South. Anthony Enaro fought the independence of Nigeria to stand before the British in 1960s. Was it a joke? Do they remember him? Is it not because he's from minor tribes? Many people have ruled in the South. They even think of him. And they want to make sure they silence everybody. And if they are not careful, as we are pointing to the problem of Nigeria, we will graduate from this problem to Southern Sudan like. I'm just telling you, particularly southern part of Nigeria. And if people don't want to take it, they may leave it, but the trap is there. The Fulani have settled it already. The state they created for us in the start, in the southern part of Nigeria, they created it through their military power, and they never consulted the people. Let's take an Igbo tribe as an example. The whole state they created for them, within the boundary area, there is confusion. Edo and Delta that are live peacefully, there is confusion. The river and the Bayelsa people, there is confusion. Even within the Edo state, villages they don't have map. They don't even know their territory, because most of these old men who, let me say, our grandfathers, they normally have a big tree, some pothole they used to identify their demarcation of village boundaries. Those things are no longer there, and most of the people even coming back to the village, they are coming far away. They were not even born there. Maybe their forefather was from there, or their father was from there, but they were not raised up there. They become the chairman of that village. They sell one land to 15 people, and people play themselves. So when you look at it, and then another thing again is another tribe issue. If an Edo man cannot sit with an Igbo man and discuss the issue that is on ground, Igbo cannot speak with a Joe man. Because that is why I love Ninas, because I have my own opinion. Because you understand me, I'm not here to insult anybody. I love them because the way they are trying to put everybody to is the only way forward. We are in the gap of gunpowder when it comes to Nigeria. And when it's also come to the southern part of Nigeria, we are also in the same situation. If we don't want to learn from Southern Sudan, let us continue to be insulting ourselves, thinking that Fulani is only our problem, and they are also victims. And it is because of this ethnic bigotry that make Nigeria government to continue to deceive us. The Boko Haram, they told us is Western education is an evil. But when Boko Haram came up, they were working with Boko Haram. They interpreted Boko Haram in a different way. They worked with Boko Haram to a point. They created, when Yusuf was there, Yusuf wasn't a terrorist. He was just a preacher of his own religion. He has no blood in his hand. It was Nigeria government that terrorized them before they become what they have today.
Thank you.
You understand me? So the Nigeria government was able to fool Nigerians, and when they arrested Yusuf, they did not try him. They arrested him for the first time. The second time, they just arrested him, and that is all. He disappeared. And most of these guys, these innocent people, they ransacked so many villages, killed so many innocent people with these colonial mentality armies. They kill a lot of innocent people. That was why these guys were able to run to the forest. And in the forest, they regroup. Now they introduce them to Nigeria. Oh, Western civilization is evil. The original meaning is colonial mentality is evil. What is ruining us is colonial mentality. We don't believe in human rights. Is that how they live in Western world? Look at the way they train our police. It's very primitive. The judiciary system is fucked up. If you put a Doma, it's the same thing. If you put Igbo, it's the same thing. We just want to point to Hausa. A Bayasama was there for some years ago. He ruled for good 5 years. Just ask yourself what he did. The same constitution that we are calling upon today is useless. We must change it. Obasanjo was there, and a Yoruba man for good 8 years. Did he do anything about the constitution? He was surrounded with a lot of professors. So why are we always pushing our blame to one particular set of people? Just because the way they do their thing. We do understand that the Fulanis are there. They are already in the upper hand. Are we should ask ourselves.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. I think we have had enough for today. So unless anybody want to make a very brief submission, I think we should call it a day now. Ifeanyi, are you still raising up your hand or?
Our brother that just spoke now, yeah, he spoke well. Of course, we look inwards, but sometimes if we go back in time to understand where the rain started beating us, we will know that this mess we are in today, it will only get worse if we don't get out of this so-called Nigerian stuff. Because before we can put our house in order, we must have control over our house. You cannot have your neighbor having control over your house, and then you think you can make your house to be the way you want it. We have to have they told us that we will never have control over our life, and that is what we are experiencing. You know, they told us this new nation is their forefathers. They will never allow us to have control over our life. So until we get that control, we can never say that, oh, this is if we go to now and be Biafra or do this and that, then it can never be worse than what we are going through. We will fight ourselves if we don't manage ourselves well. That is the thing. Thanks.
Thank you. I think I see a new hand that's not been, I've not seen before. Michael.
Hi, I'm just good day, everybody. I'm just going to be very brief and straight to the point. First of all, I want to say I'm a little bit disappointed with the way some of our so-called elders here reacted to themselves. I mean, the younger ones like us are watching. Please try to be civil. You are supposed to be our role model. If you are behaving like this, what do you expect from the ones, younger ones like us? So please, next time, let us try to act more maturely. Thank you. Then to the issue of the day, please, let us all stop beating around the bush. Let us go straight to the point. We have to face what is before us. Let us stop trading blames. It is there, it is there. We are dying, we are dying. They say he that is down fears no fall. I don't know what anybody is afraid of, but we need to get out of that fear and go for what we need to be. If we continue like this, we will be wiped out. No need to blame anybody. In fact, I like what the Nigerian government is doing. They are helping us to know that we are fools.
Exactly.
Because if we are not, we should stand up. These guys are just a few percentage of what the whole country is.
Exactly.
If we can stand up and tell ourselves the truth and start acting from our own fathers, from our local government chairmen, from our governors, in fact, if we even deal with our own people the way we are supposed to deal with them, the strangers will be scared to come close.
Right.
I don't want to talk so much. I want to apologize if I've said anything that is going to hurt anybody, but I'm just trying to bear my mind. And please, this is how I think we should go. And one more thing, please, in discussions like this, try to bring in some younger ones. You guys are aging. You need to groom us. This is the mistakes our fathers made. There is a gap. There is a gap between your fathers and you. Like the way most of you talk, you guys stumble on it. You guys are still struggling because your fathers did not take you along.
I don't know when you joined. We said this program is in 2 stages. From 8 to 10, it was purely, let me say, good.
Okay.
No, it wasn't like it, but after the first stage, because we recorded it, it's meant for production, it will go global. Then we now enter the second phase where we are free to express our thoughts as the way we are experiencing it now. So it's nothing, there's nothing bad about it, the way I see it. But thank you very much for, your points are well noted.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, I think on this point, unless Mr. Urun wants to say anything in 30 seconds, I don't know. Principal.
If I want to say anything, then that will be towards you now. I want you to take a stand on this or tell me your own feeling. We have all agreed, and you have also alluded that the situation in Nigeria is cumbersome, it is separating, it's time-consuming, it's unsurmountable, it's unworkable, and this resonated with what the Vice President recently said as well, that the problem is too complex, the security problem. When a problem is big and complex, the best thing is it not to break it into sizable stage and deal with it.
Exactly.
What will be a take?
That's realistic. I mean, I don't know what we're. It's just realistic.
So what do you want me to say?
Okay. All right. I try to open to the house. I know most people have a stand already anyway.
What do you want me to say?
Let me not put you on the spot.
No. I'm thinking how to.
No,
we've been saying this thing.
We need the moderator's opinion on this.
I started this thing. Nigeria is tiring. I'm now retiring. Michael said we are now old men, so I'm retired. I want the old men to. I started this campaign in 2007. You can't believe it. Well, a lot of organizations did this, that, and we are still here. So finally, it appears the new generation think that all our efforts are in vain. It's not working. They have a different mode. So let them take charge and solve the problem.
Moderator, you're playing the devil's advocate. That's why.
It's a very serious context. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. I think we've taken off enough.
Let me add something. One thing I want to add is that we cannot kill ourselves into democracy, into prosperity, or into progress. We got to start thinking about a different method how to solve our problem. Killing never solve any problems.
This one, we get it from God, there is no salvation. It's very, very clear in the Bible.
That's advice you should be giving to Fulanis.
No, it's to every one of us. It was killing that destroyed.
The Fulanis are allowed to kill, eh? To us,
No,
killing is not the problem.
After the independence that destroyed Nigeria, so killing will not see efforts. The way if we start killing now, we don't know where we are going to end.
That's why we say
they are killing you.
All right. Thank you. I think we've taken enough for today. We have stayed for almost. It's going to 4 hours now.
Daniel, just
Can I say
one
something
thing,
real
Daniel.
quick?
Daniel.
Yes.
You know, one thing we've forgotten all this while is remember the decimation of Biafrans was actually supervised by a Christian head of state. That's all I have to say.
Just a stooge.
No,
they have now repented.
He was a stooge.
Well, he was a Christian.
Well, Christian stooge. Everybody answering Christian. That Juma, was he not a Christian? And
can I say something real quick?
Okay.
To argue it.
It's wrong because
even also Jimba is a Christian.
Yes, Gowon was helpless. If you know, after the death of Ironsi, for 4 days there was no government in Nigeria because Gowon was struggling with Murtala Mohammed, who would be head of.
Yeah, the Fulani is in charge.
Okay, can I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
Everybody's talking about if they didn't kill Mohammed Yusuf, we wouldn't have had problem. See, we should be grateful. Whoever killed that man did Nigeria a great favor. In 2009,
that is your opinion. That is your
no. Let me learn. This is the problem we have. Can I buttress my points?
Extrajudiciary killing is an evil. It's not democratic.
Can I buttress my
points? If you use this same set of mind to come to certain part of Nigeria by killing people, you are going to
no. See,
extrajudiciary killing is an evil. It doesn't help any society.
Can I tell you my school of thought?
I am a Christian like you, a man who preached peace, who preached honor.
I never said I was a Christian.
He was arrested. He was not tried, and they murdered him silently and create Boko Haram we have today. And you want to tell me they did a good thing?
Mr. James, I'm not going to argue with you. So let me buttress my point. In 2009, I served in Yobe State. I knew these guys. If you know what these guys were up to, if you know the kind of people that were there, if you know the people that were decimated, youth corpers like us were killed in broad daylight, and there was nothing that would have been done. He had his team. These guys were tactical. Most of the people in power today are part of them. I would not say where. They are part of them. This guy was going to call them out. But what they did was evil. Every day.
My brother, let me tell you one thing. When you people are talking, you talk from ethnic bigotry. Be sincere. When he was alive, they never killed anybody in Nigeria. When he was alive, go back and search history.
That is what you
think. We cannot turn anything around.
See, you do not know. I am telling you, I was in Yobe State.
I was also there. I was also there. Being used there, I was
also argue with you.
When they arrested.
Okay, I think
I'm not going to argue with you.
Let's have this. I don't know.
When they did, was no room for trial. They did not have anything to charge him.
Yeah, thank you. I think at this point, if we continue this way, we will not be productive. So
exactly.
I think we've had enough.
We cannot keep interrupting each other. When somebody wants to say something, just let the person say all your stupidity. Then you make your own sense.
No, I am
They
not
say out of every nonsense.
To argue with you.
This is the same thing you are doing over and over
in
again.
State, twice they arrested him. They set him free because there is nothing to charge him. Someone that is just like activists, like what they did to Kano. He was not even abusing the rest people. He was abusing his people. Why must you send your daughter to abroad and you are telling us ours should be a housewife? Who was it challenging? Not his people. That is why they gang up. And foolishly, the second time they arrested him, nothing. You said he killed somebody. No, they never killed anybody. By his time, he preached against it. He preached against violence. And that is why they did extrajudiciary killing. And after they have murdered him, they created the monster. It's just
you can have the trophy. You can take the trophy. I'm not going to argue with you. I was only trying to let people know what I know. But you are trying to tell me I don't know nothing. So keep the trophy.
The road to Fulani domination. That is the theme of discussion. Igbo leadership and the road to Fulani domination of Nigeria. But now we're going here and they're putting our hands everywhere.
We gave it to them.
Okay. Mr. Elumba, I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to give you first-hand information. I'm going to try to give you access to people who I served with in the same local government in Yobe State. You can interview them. Maybe some of them might be scared. You can interview them privately. They will tell you all they know. If they can't tell you all they know, you will see where we were coming from, and it will make you understand where we are going to more. I served in Dokshi. Mohammed Yusuf was from Bumsa. There is another one who is still alive, who is from Bularafa. Everything happened right before our eyes. We go to the field to play soccer with these guys, which we call football. We know them firsthand. We play with them.
Okay.
And they
let him finish. James, let him finish now, and then you can come in.
So whatever I'm saying, I'm not just speculating. I'm just telling you what I know. So you might know something different. I'm not disputing what you're saying. I'm not saying you're telling lies, but sometimes hear people out. That makes you the brilliant person. So you don't just go into arguments and shut people off of vital information that can help you. Out of every nonsense, there is a sense. So I think I'll rest my case here. Thank you.
Thank you. My contact is there. We would like to have further conversation.
Good.
As time goes on, I think, like I said, next week I'm trying to get a gentleman also who has done extensive research on the issue. One of the problems in Nigeria is that the government or the authorities do not make our time to extensively investigate the matter and take a decision. They leave it hand. So thank you all. Thank you all, guys. Sorry?
Is it the cattle reeler that you expect to make an investigation in the way you want to? Somebody who want to trace him now left and right.
Okay, good.
Our discussion is only, the problem with our discussion is that we are like talking to ourselves. The people that are even creating this problem are not even listening to us. They're not even part of it.
How do you know? How do you know?
How many of them are in this forum now? How many of them are there? How many Fulanis are here?
Well, the Fulanis that are here, they have left. Like I said, we finished our conversation with this one. It's like
Fulanis are busy killing and maiming and taking lands.
These are the people that we'll be talking about to tell them, talk to them about peace. You don't tell an Igbo man about peace because we know we like to live in peace. We like to do our business in peace.
Nobody's talking about. I mean,
when you talk about self-defense and somebody is turning it to violence,
all right. I also think it's going to help every one of us is unity, and we must learn how to talk to ourselves. We must also learn from countries that find themselves in this situation before. If you look at the entire Yugoslavia today, if you look at the entire East Bloc of Europe, and most of these countries that pull away from Russia, they came to a place, agree what to do and how to pull away, and that is why they did not turn against themselves. Like the way we are pointing, we are polishing things. The South is a keg of gunpowder of its own. Only those that doesn't understand it may be undermining it. Once it starts, it becomes a big fire because there are a lot of people there feel marginalized, and when they see those who are majority around them trying not to, create a door for talk, and they are trying to impose something on them, they feel very hungry. And when they express themselves, you insult them, and they keep quiet. You think that quietness is weakness. Like some people will say, I don't want Bende. Ojuku did not add my territory to his rifle. So we are whom we are, and we're going to tell people, if you cannot respect us and you bring it become crisis, the Western world will come and exploit us in the next 20 or 30 years, like what is happening in Southern Sudan. So nobody will give itself down for anybody to climb. We must understand.
Mr. Lumba, again, what I want to say is that Minas is not preaching for people to stay in their homes and be killed. People are entitled to self-defense. If you see somebody that is going to kill you, you kill that person before they kill you.
No,
that's beside the point.
What
that's
of
beside the point? That's beside the point of the issue that we are talking about.
Kill with hand on somebody who is AK-47.
Problem we have in
the let us because our conversation has now ended, even though we just want to have this chat at least for my own benefit and each other's benefit.
You can also say your own point to us. Let's learn from you. You have been on the game for so many years. Just tell us a little brief what you have, what you think that can help us as people of the southern part of Nigeria. We all are feeling the same. We have one common enemy, yet we cannot unite. Then something is wrong.
It's difficult.
They have the division within us instead of that divide and conquer.
All right, thank you guys. I think hopefully next we normally have this program every weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 8 p.m. On different topics and different guests. So if you're able to log in next time again, we'll be happy to have you around.
Thank you, Mr. Lumba.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a very good evening.
Thanks to you all.
Thank you, Danny.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.